This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
This is what you can look forward to on our strange Halloween episode 142 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
You ready for the big Doctor Strange Halloween spectacular bonanza? If you are, then this is your show.
The fact that I looked amazing in my wedding dress will probably be the number one highlight.
No, I don't want to hear from Dave Filoni. I want to hear it from Eliza herself.
Not feeling great tonight, tucked up in bed, listening to Skywalking Podcast Chicken Soup.
I want to see a team up between Doctor Strange, God, and Jesus.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls.
Hello, Skywalkers. Magic mirror on the wall. All the forces of evil I call.
Hello, darling. This is Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, and I'm skywalking through Neverland. Are you?
Hey, Skywalkers! Welcome to Skywalking Through Neverland! We are the fun-filled, family-friendly Star Wars and Disney podcast that bring you entertaining stories from the makers and fans. And a big thanks and a giant Wookiee hug to our family of Skywalkers who listen to the show every week, post on our Facebook group, and spread the positivity about our adventure through fandom. I am Richard Wolosky, your tour guide through fandom. And now, everyone, please say hello to my sweetie wife of 7 years, Sarah.
Yay! Hi, everyone, and hi, sweetie. I'm so excited to be here. And we decided to record anyway on our anniversary because it's something we love to do. We love to share our fandom with all of you guys. So, hello to all of you, our Star Wars and Disney family.
Our scope walkers are watching right now.
And my mom.
Your mom is just periscoped in to say happy anniversary.
Oh, how exciting. Welcome, Mom. Yay. Well, okay. So we love it. Now, by being here, you are scope walkers watching us on Periscope. Also, we love it when you share the show on social media. You guys are tweet walkers. So we are at Skywalking Pod, and we love it when you tweet at us every week.
And tune into Periscope.
Yes.
Love the Periscope watchers. I'm sorry, the Scope walkers.
Yes.
They have an official name. Now, we are recording this from Long Beach, California on October 25th, our 7-year anniversary date, 2016.
Yeah.
So, wait a minute, Sarah. What time are we recording this?
Minnie says...
It's 11:42. Good morning.
Aww.
Well, good morning, Minnie Mouse.
Oh, that's so cute.
How can you not have a good morning after hearing that?
I know. It's 11:42. Good morning. Aww.
That was just as good. Now, coming up on this big episode, which we are really, really excited about, the latest Marvel Cinematic Universe film is here, November 4th to be exact, and that is Doctor Strange. However, we got to see an early screening and attended a press conference that included Benedict Cumberbatch,
Mads Mikkelsen,
Tilda Swinton,
and director Scott Derrickson, as well as a few others.
So we're going to give you our spoiler-free review. Don't worry, no spoilers there. As well as some highlights from the press conference and a crash course on Doctor Strange for those who have never heard of him until now.
And we could have totally used that crash course before we saw the film. So we want to give you Skywalkers that opportunity to learn a little bit more. Ric Peralta of liningup.net is back to give us some late-breaking news about lining up for Rogue One at the premiere party site, the TCL
Don't say it.
The TCL Chinese Theatre IMAX in Hollywood.
Yahoo! See, I'm not the only one who messes that one up.
You know why I messed it up? Because you wrote it down wrong. That's why I messed it up.
That's just, you know what, you need better glasses. Ask Rick. Doesn't say that at all. Moving on.
It's almost Halloween night when we all spend the better part of the evening knocking on neighbors' doors asking for candy. I know we still do.
Oh, yeah. That was the highlight of last Halloween.
Yes, it was.
Going trick-or-treating.
So we want to make sure that everyone is safe this Halloween season. So C-3PO is back to give us some safety tips on trick-or-treating.
Now, we also have shout-outs, a Skywalker of the Week, Journal of the Rich, things we want to share, and we've opened these Skype lines for early trick-or-treaters.
Ooh.
A lot of our friends said they were going to drop by, but they wouldn't tell us what they were going to be dressing up as, so we need a little help from the Skywalkers out there to figure out who is wearing what costume. Well, looks like they're starting early.
Trick or treat!
Uh-oh.
Hey, sweetie, it's our old friend Dave Scale, the ghost host.
Hey, Dave.
Well, maybe on most days, but not for the Halloween episode.
Oh, wait, he is dressed up.
All right, let's see if we can guess what he is. You are I'm gonna guess some kind of lone Jedi.
Kind of, sort of, close.
Oh, close.
Whose pants am I wearing?
Well, I see some blue pants.
Blue pants, and he has a red blood stripe. Han Solo.
There we go. All right, but wait, look. I'm unshaven. And
That could be Han Solo from The Force Awakens.
And I've got all of these little foam footballs tied onto leashes.
What?
Give us another hint. He's unshaven, and he's got the black vest and white shirt on, so I'm guessing a variation on Han Solo.
You won't get your candy until we can guess this.
All right, kid.
My little foam footballs are going to go where I want them to go because they're on leashes.
You are...
Oh, so you're in the asteroid field.
No, wait a minute. Hold on here. Hold on. I'm putting this together. They're on leashes, and what'd you say? They're going where you want them to go. You're herding them.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wait a minute.
Are you
Hold
Han
on.
Solo herding nerfs?
No, you are a scruffy-looking nerf herder.
Give me my candy.
What?
You know what? That is an awesome costume. So we have some things here for you.
Oh, okay.
We have an Iron Man helmet with Adam Carolla's signature on it.
Wow, goodness.
We have that. We have some tambourine pieces from a Davy Jones tambourine circa 1969. Those are yours too.
Nice.
We have Sarah's iPhone 7.
Wait, what?
About time.
Wait.
There we go. You have some Post-it notes. All right, there you go.
Score!
All right, happy Halloween.
My iPhone.
Yeah, I'm sorry I gave away your iPhone.
Why did you do that? How am I going to Periscope?
Well, he needed something. It was our first trick-or-treater of the evening. We had to start with a bang.
We weren't prepared.
Well, I was, but you left your iPhone sitting right there. Well, don't worry. I'm sure you've got plenty of iPhones left. You got like more iPhones than shoes. All right, with that, let's get into Things We Want to Share, the wedding edition.
Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share. Things we want to share.
Now let's travel back to October 25th, 2009.
Yay, that was our wedding date. It was a Sunday.
It was a Sunday. We had a masquerade wedding here in Long Beach, and it was so much fun because everyone came in costume. And what were some of your highlights of that day, Sarah?
Oh, gosh. Well, the fact that I looked amazing in my wedding dress would probably be the number one highlight.
Right.
And the fact when we went, because we did the reveal of the wedding dress, looking at each other before the wedding ceremony.
Yeah, we had to take pictures because of the time of day and
Yeah.
where we wanted to go. Now, this wedding was no small feat. This was a production.
Yes, it was.
Just like the podcasts are big productions every week. Well, this wedding was nothing short of a production of magnitudes worthy of a princess.
Yeah,
And
well,
that's you.
Well, yes. Wait, was it a year and a half in the making or something like
Yes.
that? Aw. And so let's see. Well, first of all, we wanted to get pictures in this park by this beautiful lake, and that closed at like 5 or something. So we had to get the pictures first, and then our wedding was at 8 p.m. It was
Yeah.
late wedding.
And for this park down the street, El Dorado Park, they don't really allow a lot of wedding shoots there. And I did ask them, just some general guidelines. I didn't tell them what or where, but they said, you can come in as long as you keep it low key.
Yeah.
Yeah, low key.
Low key. What do we have, like 5 or 6 people on each bridal party? And then we had
2 photographers.
We had our ring bearer.
And we had to bring in R2-D2. So
Yes.
guess how low key this was.
R2-D2 was our ring bearer.
So we had to have him in the wedding pictures, and we had to sneak by the park ranger cabin. So here, it looked like something from a Brady Bunch episode.
Yeah.
Where all of us tiptoeing past the window.
And I got this big dress, which my bridesmaids are holding up. Yeah.
And then we had to bring R2 in, and but luckily they didn't notice.
Yeah, or didn't
But
say anything.
yeah,
Secret Squirrel was not around then.
No, or he probably would have stopped us.
Yes.
But then we had this great location picked out right in the middle of the woods. But guess what? It was closed off that day.
It was. There was a giant fence. Aww. So even if we could sneak in that far, we couldn't because the fence was there.
So not only were we not able to go to the spot we wanted to, but we were like exposed to everybody.
Yeah.
But luckily we pretty much stayed under the radar.
Sort of.
Yeah. We got our pictures.
It was towards the end of the day. Everyone comes in the morning, so it worked out.
It was a lot of fun. Got exactly everything we wanted. Check. And then off to the Grand.
Yes. Now, what sticks out for you then?
Well, of course, getting married.
Well, yes.
And seeing you in your dress.
Aww.
But then in the back of my mind, I got to admit, I had all these pieces to this big production floating around that the lighting had to be this way and the lightsaber arches had to be that way and the special guest had to stay hidden. So there were a lot of moving pieces to this.
Yes.
And one of the most surprising elements, we had R2-D2 back as a ring bearer.
Which I knew about. He helped propose.
Yes.
So R2 has always been a part of our journey.
Right. But then a friend of ours, Josh Miller, said, hey, you know what? I got a friend who's got a C-3PO costume. All right, you're in.
I didn't know about this.
No, we had to keep this under wraps so Sarah wouldn't know because this C-3PO costume looked movie accurate. It was gorgeous. So even during the wedding rehearsal, he was sitting in the back, and I think Sarah was... Were you wondering who this random person was wearing a C-3PO shirt? Like, dude, don't wear the C-3PO shirt.
I had no idea. Like, because it was R2. Victor Franco was R2, and I just thought he had brought 2 friends with him.
All right, good.
Yeah. But one of them was C-3PO.
Because being in the suit, he can't see anything, so he really wanted to see what the wedding rehearsal was going to be like.
Right.
And what was that wedding rehearsal like, Sarah? What was my nickname?
Your nickname was Groomzilla. Yeah. Oh, see, Mom was on it.
Your mom just got it.
Yep. Yeah, because Richard, for a 20-minute ceremony, well, we didn't know it would be quite that short, but for a 20-minute ceremony, we had a 3-hour rehearsal. 3 hours.
Rehearsals are like 25, 30 minutes tops.
Our wedding coordinator was so pissed at you.
Oh, she was not happy. But I knew there were certain parts that we needed to get.
Yes.
To get right. And R2 had to be at a certain place at a certain time. And I knew 3PO had to be at a certain location.
And then there was the stormtrooper.
There was the red carpet, so we had to make sure he didn't trip over that. And R2 could roll around the corner. So this was the problem Harrison Ford had on the set of The Empire Strikes Back when Irvin Kershner was more worried about the special effects than the movie. And Harrison would say, what about us? What about the actors?
Like, you guys will do your job.
Yeah, so Kershner had to worry about if everything was aligning just perfectly and blue screens were lit properly and things were going off at the right time. But I really had to worry about R2 rounding this corner. Mm-hmm. And so then our officiant was a little bit late, and I know she can get very frazzled when she's late, so I had to make sure that she knew exactly what was going on, because the more she knew, the less frazzled she would be.
Yes.
So I was just having all these pieces in my head, knowing that there's a certain element that we haven't introduced, and that was C-3PO, which had to stay hidden. Now, cut to the wedding day, and 3PO, Ian Martin was his name, he had his suit all laid out in the banquet hall. Mm-hmm. And I made sure to tell the coordinator, do not let anyone in this hall. You secure this like Lucasfilm. No one is to go in or out or even look through the windows.
So then me and my bridal party, now I had spent hours and hours and days figuring out exactly how I wanted the tables to look and the linens, and the flowers and the feathers. So I wanted to see what this looked like. So I decided to peek in the windows because one of the attendants of the hall was like, "Oh, you can't go in." I was like, "Oh, okay." So we were peeking in the windows, and Richard, you saw me peeking in the windows.
Yeah, that's when I came down the stairs with my friends and groomsmen, all happy, and I'm about to get married. I'm very excited until I see Sarah and her wedding party looking through the window. I could have yelled things that should not be said in front of even adults.
Now, luckily, though, the banquet hall was L-shaped, and I was looking in the long part of the L, where the banquet tables were, and 3PO was in the part of the L I couldn't see, so it worked out.
But
I never saw
I
him.
didn't know this.
Yeah.
I didn't know this,
Aw.
and I thought, well, of course, you're not going to say anything because you probably knew it was a surprise, so of course you're not going to ruin it for me. So I was fuming. I was fuming.
How did you get over it, though?
But by 3 hours later, when you said that you hadn't.
Oh,
No. I just figured at that point, you know what? It is what it is. I can't let that ruin my day. But
Yes.
when you spend so long figuring something out and planning and coordinating only to have one mess up ruin everything. And I really wanted this to be a big surprise for you. And I thought you had seen it. But Sarah, I love you to death, but you are a terrible liar. Mm-hmm. A terrible liar. So
Mom knows this, too.
I knew had you seen something, you probably would have said something, or I would have seen it on your face.
Right.
So I had a ray of hope that all was still good.
Well, yes, it's true.
So at that point, all the guests took their places.
And then the ceremony went by so fast.
Yeah,
Like,
it
what
was
happened?
quick. You walked down the aisle to across the stars.
Yeah, my dad took me down the aisle. It was so lovely. I remember this story actually before the wedding, because I felt, because it was all the rage to have your mom and dad walk you down the aisle. So I asked Mom, would you want to be part of this? And she's like, oh, no, that's a dad's job.
Oh.
She was like, she wanted to just sit there and, not have to do that. So it was great, though.
Yeah, the lighting was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect time of the day.
We had the Starfield up on the tent.
Yeah, oh, yeah, we spent so much money on lighting. And then the wedding started. The officiant was going through her.
I
know we had.
We had written our
collaborated.
vows. Yes, we collaborated with her.
Right, because there were certain things that had to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And when she said, "Does anyone here oppose this marriage?" Well, one guy in the back raised his hand, and he wasn't liking what he was seeing. But then, you know what? In Star Wars fashion, in come two Imperial stormtroopers to show him the error of his way.
And make him sit down and shut up.
Sat down, and all was good. He rethought his decision. So at that point, the ring bearer asked for the ring, and I turned to my best man, ghost host Dave Scale, and he didn't have it. Uh-oh. Who's got the ring? Well, who had it during the proposal? But R2-D2. So the black curtain opens up, and who's there?
R2 and 3PO!
There were audible gasps from the audience because no one knew.
Yeah, and you even had the audio track going, so 3PO was speaking.
Yeah, the DJ, our good friend Alan Wilson, he had all of these 3PO quotes all queued up. It worked perfectly, and no one knew the better because we had a big black curtain behind everyone,
right.
So no one would see the stormtroopers or R2 and 3PO.
Until they came out and had their appearance.
And my big moment was just seeing your face when that black curtain opened up to reveal the ring bearers.
Aww, yeah.
And that was very exciting. But then I had to make sure that R2 and 3PO were going to clear the separation
ramp.
in the rugs. We had T-shaped red carpet, so I had to make sure that R2 could go around the bend,
make the turn,
and 3PO wouldn't fall.
Yeah.
But now, as all this is happening, Victor Franco, the R2 controller, he's jetting all around this banquet hall because he couldn't see at that point.
Oh, no.
So he had to haul butt to the other side.
Oh, because 3PO goes down the carpet, but then he has to turn right and make his way,
So Victor had to make sure R2 could clear that properly.
Yeah.
So, but R2 and 3PO stood in the middle. People took pictures. So
I never noticed him booking it, so worked out.
So everything worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
And then moments later, you said,
I do.
And then I said, I know. I said I do.
And we did our vows, and they were very nice.
Yeah. When did you write your vows?
I wrote my vows in 2 hours the night before the wedding. Yep.
I'd written mine pretty much when we got engaged the March beforehand.
Yeah, see, that's the difference between you and me.
So afterwards, we took tons and tons of great pictures, and as our Skywalker family has seen on our Facebook page, on our group page, we had posted a lot of the pictures, and it was just so much fun. Yeah. Even though Ian Martin in the 3PO suit, he was dying because he said
he was in it for like 45 minutes.
The most he could do was like 10 to 15 minutes, but at that point, he was in there over an hour.
No, it was okay. I mean, I thought it was 45 minutes.
It was until people kept saying,
we want a picture. We want a picture.
Let's get a selfie. Another picture.
Yeah.
We didn't really have selfies back then.
No.
But everyone wanted pictures and being a good sport. And he said yes. So we invited him to stay with us for the reception and dinner. Little did I know, I hope we have space for him. But unfortunately, some of our guests couldn't make it because they were sick.
Yes.
So it was a beautiful ceremony, a fantastic reception. We had my little nephew Ryan doing his Michael Jackson Billie Jean dance, did the Thriller dance.
And my parents were awesome.
Yeah, and Dave Scale did a whole 3-point presentation.
Yeah,
about
his
best man speech.
Yeah, the best man speech.
Yeah, just to make sure that Sarah and I were properly aligned together.
He had a PowerPoint presentation.
Yes.
I think you said a 3-point presentation.
PowerPoint, yes.
Yes.
And I think he even decided that if we have kids, then they would be named Count Chocula.
Sure, and they'd look like Yoda.
In Harry Potter attire.
It was really disturbing. It was very disturbing. All right.
So it was a great night, and the next day we went to Disneyland.
Yay.
So thank you to the friends and the family who attended 7 years ago today. We had such a blast. And like we were just talking about beforehand, if our wedding was to be held today, how would our guest list differ?
It would be like totally different.
It'd be like 98% different.
Except for family, obviously. But yeah, it's just really funny.
We're going through the list now going, who's that? Who's that?
Yeah.
Why do we invite them?
It's like, that's why you invite family to your wedding, because they will always be the same. Wow.
Yeah. So, sweetie, I'm very happy you said I do.
And likewise.
Big kisses. Mwah. Now, one more thing. Ric Peralta sent us a very nice happy anniversary message on Twitter and Facebook.
Thank you, Rick.
Happy anniversary, Richard and Sarah. I just want to say you guys bring so much joy into everyone's lives, and you deserve a day to yourselves. Thank you so much for giving us Skywalking Through Neverland, and again, happy anniversary.
And that was our wedding edition of
Things We Want to Share.
Trick or treat!
Whoa, there's a lot of people out there.
Yeah, come in.
Come in.
Hey, good evening.
Hey, it's the Hunt family.
Wow.
Hi, guys.
Well, hey there. The first family to ever get the Skywalker of the Week as a family. Hey, thanks for dropping by. Love the costumes.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Now wait a minute. Those costumes. Now wait. Jeremy, what is that on your head?
I have nothing on my head, but since I recently shaved and I'm bald, I had to put a wig on.
Oh,
so that's why you look a little bit different.
Yeah, and it's not my normal hair color, but, you know.
What color is that? It's kind of dark out.
It's kind of a sandy blonde.
Jeremy, you're kind of throwing me off here, but let's get some hints as a whole collective unit, because you guys are all dressed as one concept, so I want to get it all here as one. So, Sophia, start us off with some hints.
Well, we're part of a crew of people on a vessel.
Ooh, okay.
You are from Star Trek.
No.
Indeed, we are
Okay.
not.
Cheney, why don't you give us a couple of hints now?
I like stuffed animals.
Are you wearing a jumper? Like a jumpsuit?
Maybe.
Maybe. All right.
Okay.
Heather, why don't you start giving us some hints here? Because I'm starting to put a couple of these clues together.
Let's see. Well, I have several belts.
Several belts.
Yeah, I may wear something leather.
Are you Chewbacca?
Nope, not Chewbacca.
Okay. All right.
Rated G, so it's cool.
All right.
Okay.
Give us some more hints here. So you're coming in as a group.
Someone likes stuffed animals.
Is it
Four of
a
you. Is one of you a
mineral?
captain? No. Which one is the captain?
None of us.
None of you are the captain, because that could help.
All right. Are you from Spaceballs?
No, we're not from Spaceballs.
All right. Boy, I think we'd be better at this by now.
Yeah.
What's clothing hints?
Sure,
Yeah,
some
give
more
us some
hints.
more hints.
So my outfit is kind of a burnt orange jumpsuit of sorts, but I also like to wear some more colorful things like some Hawaiian shirts with my outfits.
Are you the pilot?
I am indeed a pilot, a very good one.
Are you
Oh.
No stitches. We have no stitches here.
All right. One more question here. I think I'm beginning to narrow this down. Are you guys from a live action crew?
Yes, we are.
Oh, I got it.
You think?
You're from Lost in Space.
Nailed it! No.
Oh! But I was thinking maybe Lost in Space, the TV series, not the ill-fated movie.
Negative.
All right, hold on there, Sarah. I think I got it. Why did I
I
see
think
this
I
going
got
in?
it, but
This,
you go guess first.
Space 1999.
What's that?
Yeah, we're all looking at each other. I'm not even sure what that is.
Yeah.
Okay, if you were born in the 60s or 70s, you'd know exactly what I was talking about. But I guess you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, so...
75, but you still lost me, man.
All right, Sarah, so
All right.
I'm batting 1,000 over here. What are they?
I think you guys are from Firefly.
Nailed it!
Woo! Okay, yay!
Hold on, I got it. You're from the movie Serenity.
Yeah!
So
I got it!
all right, so Jeremy, let's make sure we know who is who. So Jeremy, you're the pilot.
Alan Tudyk.
Alan Tudyk, thank you.
Wash!
Thank you, Wash. And then, God, see, I don't know the names very well. And then, let's see, you said, Cheney, you said you like stuffed animals, right?
Yeah?
So you must be the mechanic?
True. Kaylee.
Kaylee, thank you, Kaylee. All right, and then Heather and Sophia. Okay, so Heather, are you, what's the Wash's wife?
Yes, her name's Zoe.
Zoe, thank you. And so that leaves you, Sophia. What are you dressed like?
I am River.
Oh,
there
Very
you go.
nice.
Wow, you guys did a fantastic job, and the costumes were very good. We've been eating candy all night, so our blood sugar's way off the charts.
Excellent.
Yeah, so you know what? I'm still seeing Space 1999 here.
But they did say trick or treat, so we have to give you guys something.
All right, what do we have for them? Oh, you know what we have?
Oh, look
Well,
at
Sarah
these.
and I were on our honeymoon. We had gotten these lightsaber giveaways at McDonald's. They've never been in the United States, but we have a blue one, a green one, and a purple one.
Nice.
So here, yes. Those
Put
are
those
for you.
in there.
What else do we have
Okay.
for them?
Let's see, we have a nice new iPhone 7 right
Oh,
here.
that's great.
Okay, we'll put
We've
that
been
right
giving
in
iPhones
here.
away all night long.
All right, slightly used.
We have,
let's see, a pen.
a
Oh,
pen with no cap we got from our gym that we no longer go to.
yep.
I'll take it.
All right.
And then a half-used notebook.
Oh,
Yeah,
look
here
at
we
that.
go. Full of
A
Skywalking Through Neverland
a spiral
notes.
binder and everything.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes.
Well, you guys are making off like bandits tonight.
I want the used part. I want the notes.
Well, you got him.
There's a lot of private information in there, so please keep it to yourself.
You got it.
All right, well, thank you, Hunt family, for stopping by. And as always, never land on Alderaan and never eat too much candy unless it's sugar-free. Okay? You guys have a good, safe night, okay?
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Happy Halloween.
Happy
Boom.
Halloween.
You said that losing my hands didn't have to be the end.
No, Doctor Strange. You can become so much more. Welcome to your future. Come with me.
Why aren't you showing this to me?
Because I believe you can save the world.
Become the hero you're destined to be. I don't seek to rule this world. I seek to end it. I can't do this. There is no other way. I don't know what my future holds, but I can't go back.
Because there are other ways to save lives.
Doctor Strange, rated PG-13.
Before the announcement that Doctor Strange would be the next film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, hardly anyone knew anything of this sea-level sorcerer superhero. So with that, we want to give everyone a crash course on the origins of this comic book character before going to see the film, which will be released November 4th. So this is the second film of Phase 3 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, right after Captain America: Civil War.
All right, so is everyone caught up on that?
I believe so. So we're in Phase 3.
We're in Phase 3.
How many phases are there going to be?
3.
Yeah?
For now, and I'm sure
I was going to say,
guess what? We're going to do a Phase 4 now.
Yeah.
But right now, there's just 3 planned.
Okay, 3 planned. All right.
Which is odd that in Captain America: Civil War, there was a mention of Stephen Strange. Oh, and Winter Soldier, someone said. Yeah.
Oh.
Okay, so yeah, in Captain
But-
America: Winter Soldier, which is the second Captain America film, there's someone had mentioned Stephen Strange.
Okay.
That's confusing in the timeline because how would anyone know of Doctor Strange before he became the mystic superhero we find him to be in the upcoming film?
I have an answer for that.
Okay.
Time.
Okay, there you go. The Hydra guy. Yeah, the Hydra guy did mention that he listed all these names.
Oh my gosh, if the Hydra guy mentioned him.
Oh, someone just said who mentioned Stephen Strange. Who was that? Sitwell. Sitwell. He was in the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show, and then he was also in...
The guy with like a buzz cut and glasses? I think so.
Sounds right.
I can't share it's in my
All right.
head with you because
So that's the reason
spoiler
behind
territory.
anything that needs to be retconned. Time travel.
Yes.
Time
All right.
travel wins again.
Yeah.
Racy
All right.
Stacy says.
There we go.
All right, so sit tight, and here is our Doctor Strange crash course. Now, he was the creation of Steve Ditko and first appeared in Strange Tales number 110 in 1963.
Okay, so early 60s.
That predates even me. And he was really a secondary 5-page story that followed the popular Marvel characters like the Human Torch and Nick Fury. So he wasn't the A story, testing the waters. Now, Doctor Strange, or Stephen Strange to his friends, was a brilliant but egotistical surgeon, but after a car accident destroys his hands and hinders his ability to perform surgery, he searches the globe for a way to repair them and encounters the Ancient One.
Now, in the film, this is played by Tilda Swinton.
Yeah, so this isn't really a spoiler just because it's in the origin comics.
Okay.
Now, after becoming one of the old sorcerer's supreme students, he becomes a practitioner of both the mystical arts as well as martial arts. And along with knowing many powerful spells, he has a costume with 2 magical mystical objects. The Cloak of Levitation, which enables him to fly. Love this cape.
Yes.
And the Eye of Agamotto, which is a tool of magical clairvoyance.
And it's also, well, for the Doctor Strange 10K that we'll be running coming up in November, that's the medal that we're going to get is the Eye of Agamotto.
Which is an awesome tie into the movie.
Yeah.
I want an Eye of Agamotto.
It's pretty awesome. Well, we'll get one.
Yeah, we will. Now, Stephen Strange is aided along the way by his friend Wong and a very large assortment of mystical objects. He takes up residence in a mansion called the Sanctum Sanctorium, located in what city in America?
New York City.
So if you're a villain, just stay far from New England. Because if you go to New York, you can have Gotham, you can have Metropolis, Spider-Man is in New York City.
Right.
Now, Doctor Strange. So just steer clear.
Yeah.
But later, Strange takes up the title of Sorcerer Supreme.
Ooh, wow.
The primary protector of Earth against magical and mystical threats.
Cool. So while the Avengers are dealing with physical threats, then Doctor Strange deals with the mystical.
Mystical,
threats.
ethereal, other dimensional
Yeah. Okay.
threats. Now, as a kid growing up, I always knew about Doctor Strange, and I had some comics, but he just wasn't really...
Didn't pull you in?
He didn't pull me in. I loved the cape.
Okay.
But he was more for the teens and the adults. So, I can see why now. And
Right.
it just didn't really pull me in the way that Iron Man did or the Hulk.
Well, his stories aren't about blasting away bad guys. His stories are about like going into someone's mind.
I think maybe they gave him the big cape just to pull the kids like me in.
I think so. Well, that's what. Well, so what did you like about looking at the pictures?
His cape.
Okay.
His cape and all the mystical...
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you remember any of these like round mystical like
the mystical
things?
artwork really pulled me in.
Okay.
I didn't really know what I was looking at, but it was very intriguing. However, I didn't have longevity with this character.
Okay.
Now, in an article on audienceseverywhere.net, we see that in 1968, Strange Tales was renamed Doctor Strange, and Marvel's Magician finally had a solo 15-issue series that ran until 1969.
So is that short for a series? That seems short.
That's very, very short.
Okay, so
yeah,
just...
He just didn't...
capture.
Comics were being bought by kids.
Right.
So the teens and the adults, they weren't going to go out and buy comic books. At
Although-
that point, yeah, that was a no-no.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I heard that Doctor Strange was actually popular with like older teenagers who were maybe perhaps high.
You mean the stoner kids of
Yes.
the 70s?
Yes.
Oh, very much so. Just looking at the artwork just gives you a secondary high.
Okay.
But during the 70s, Doctor Strange was featured in an issue of Marvel Premiere, and the character continued largely as he had before, traversing different dimensions and encountering strange beings and demons. And these stories were entertaining, but rarely, if ever, left a significant mark on the wider Marvel universe.
Okay.
That's why I think we didn't really hear about him until really now. I know we had maybe heard about Doctor Strange, the title. We'd
Right.
seen a lot of cosplayers, but other than him having a big red cape, how much did we really know about him?
I knew nothing.
Right.
Okay.
But his second series, Doctor Strange, Master of the Mystic Arts, that one ran 81 issues from 1974 to 1987.
Wow.
And I think because, like you said, a lot of the stoner kids, maybe they picked it up and said, hey, what's with this?
Okay.
This
Interesting.
is mind-altering.
Okay.
Now, a 90-issue series ran from 1988 to 1996, but with very little fanfare.
Okay.
And the latter half of the 90s and 2000s saw Doctor Strange pop up in various miniseries. So I think because he just wasn't getting enough momentum in his own series, let's just throw him in other series and see if it becomes something that the fans like.
Okay. And Joey P on Periscope says that that's the series that he read.
Oh, yeah?
That particular one. Cool.
Now, it wasn't until Brian Michael Bendis made him a recurring character in New Avengers. So you put a character like this into something like the Avengers, and hopefully he'll start to have legs. And placed him within the Illuminati, a secret group of Marvel's smartest and most powerful characters who were tasked with the moral quagmires of dealing with threats before they became noticeable to the rest of the superhero community. That's
wow.
very interesting.
So they had the Avengers, which got so big that they created a separate, smaller group that dealt with threats before the Avengers actually had time
Kind of like what S.H.I.E.L.D. is.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
So
I can see that.
When the threat grows to be too big, all right, you know what? Call in the Avengers.
Right. But before that, they try to deal with it.
I think it goes S.H.I.E.L.D., the Illuminati, which, once again, were the group of heroes to squash the mortal quagmires. Love that term. Hashtag before it became something the Avengers needed to come in and deal with.
Okay.
Now, the film that comes out on November the 4th isn't the first time we've seen Doctor Strange as a live-action film.
Really?
It was a TV movie that aired September 6th, 1978 on CBS that starred Peter Hooton. I just love saying that name.
Okay.
Peter Hooton as Doctor Strange.
This modern hospital may seem worlds apart from the days of ancient sorcerers. But for psychiatrist Stephen Strange and his beautiful patient, this is where those worlds collide. And the nightmare begins. Nothing Stephen Strange learned in medical school could prepare him for an attack by an evil sorceress from the fourth dimension. A villainess who can only be stopped by an earthly master of the mystic arts.
You're telling me you're a sorcerer? I came here to try to help a patient of mine.
Come and take him into our domain.
Now it's up to Stephen Strange to take the place of the Earth's last sorcerer.
Have I become the sorcerer?
You should learn whose powers to respect.
Come along for a fantastic adventure into the fourth dimension with Doctor Strange.
Okay, so 78, wasn't that around the time that Superman came out?
The movie, yes.
Yeah, so there was
This was a big time
Yeah.
for superheroes, especially on CBS, that ran The Incredible Hulk TV series with Lou Ferrigno and The Amazing Spider-Man with your friend from Sound of Music.
Sound of Music.
I want to say Peter Hammond for some reason. Is that right?
God bless Kurt. I think he played Kurt.
He was one of the brothers.
Right.
Let's just say it was the older kid, okay? Leave it at that. Now, the Doctor Strange TV movie was supposed to be a proposed TV series. So this worked as the pilot, but I just don't think it had the same effect that the other superheroes had and never went anywhere past the TV movie.
Okay.
Now, in the TV movie, it was played by Peter Hooton once again, who had this big furry mustache and a big 70s fro, and he had a big starburst on his chest.
Wow.
And hardly ever wore the cape. What is up with that? Now, there was also an animated feature released on home video on August the 14th, 2007, called Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer Supreme.
Oh.
And this was part of a 10 direct-to-home video series that also included 3 Avenger films, The Invincible Iron Man, Planet Hulk, and a Thor film.
Thor? I missed this.
Well, it was all animated.
Oh. Never mind.
No Chris Hemsworth in that.
No Chris's in that one.
So Doctor Strange does have a past, but it sounds like they just kept trying to throw him against the wall. Oh, Nicholas Hammond says mental madness. Thank you very much. I was saying Peter. Oh, Peter Hammond. Peter Parker was combining the actor with the character. Yeah, so Nicholas Hammond played Spider-Man. Thank you, mental madness. So like I was saying, that Marvel kept throwing Doctor Strange against the wall, but it just never stuck.
Okay.
And I got to admit, I never saw the TV movie. I think if I had tuned into it, after 5 minutes, I would have said, no, I'm good.
Okay.
Nope.
You weren't a stoner kid of the 70s?
Well, I didn't say that. It just didn't appeal to the superhero fan in myself.
Okay. All right.
No, I wasn't a stoner kid in the 70s.
Okay.
It was very 70s. You know, just looking at Doctor Strange's furry mustache, it's all 70s right there. So even though Doctor Strange wasn't that memorable on TV, he did have a lot of memorable storylines within the comic books.
Yeah, and those can be found... Well, you can get that first run, the Stan Lee and the Steve Ditko run, which really kind of shaped the look of Doctor Strange. That can be found in Doctor Strange Omnibus Volume 1. So, now you're saying it didn't pull you in as a kid, so how strange is Doctor Strange?
He's very strange.
He's very strange. So I want to bring up a few tales that kind of came to me. So
There were too many word bubbles.
too many words. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't like word bubbles.
Well, because they have to explain so much.
Right,
so,
exactly.
Like, here's one, Doctor Strange and the team, they get stuck in the Eye of Agamotto. So they're, like, stuck in the eye somehow, and how do they portray that, you know? There's also one where he's transformed into a cat.
Nice.
I want to see that one. And now even time can't constrain the Doctor because there's a team-up that saw Doctor Strange join forces with Nick Fury and the Howling Commandos.
That is awesome. I love how they're intermingling the Marvel characters, especially the Howling Commandos.
Yeah, so that's interesting that that's in the comics. And you said that in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that, who mentioned Doctor Strange?
Someone from Hydra.
Someone from Hydra. So Howling Commandos, Hydra, bam. So there might be some time travel going on.
There would have to be.
Yeah. All right. There's also one where Doctor Strange visits ancient Egypt, and he witnessed a Silver Age comic battle between a young Fantastic Four and Rama Tut.
Witnessed? Did he join in and say, hey guys, need any help? No? I'm good.
Yeah, I'll just watch. I'll just watch.
If you need me, I'll be on top of this pyramid over here.
Yeah. Now, this was the most interesting thing. In 1972, in Marvel Premiere number 14, Doctor Strange actually witnesses the creation of the universe when a mystic being by the name of Sisneg recreates the Marvel Universe. Now, in addition to this creationism, Sisneg builds a paradise for the first two humans on Earth and protects it from the serpent-like Shuma Gorath, and he rains destruction down on Sodom and Gomorrah. What does this sound like to you? This sounds like the Bible, doesn't it? So essentially this comic contains God, and Doctor Strange was there as a witness to the beginning of creation. So that's how out there these comics got and how like crazy they were with their storytelling. And they actually were almost going to print a retraction for this series because people got upset because they were dealing with biblical stories.
Yeah, they did. I'm sure.
But one of the guys instead posted a fake letter praising the particular comic from a priest, like a fake letter from a priest.
I want to see a team up between Doctor Strange, God, and Jesus. Can we see that?
I don't know. Apparently he can go through time and space, so
And
sure.
he has hung out with God.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really interesting. So, now we know how crazy this character is.
Maybe he was one of the protectors of the angels.
Yeah?
Or maybe he was the God Whisperer.
Sorcerer. I don't know.
I know you want to do it in 14 days, but let's cut it back to 7. What do you think?
I'll help
14
you.
days is a long day.
I'll
long
help
time.
you so it'll be 7.
Yeah,
There you go.
Just wave my hands, turn them in circles, and then bam.
Yeah. Wow. All right.
Well, you know what? We're not making this stuff up. Well, we are making this stuff up, so don't blame us.
But some of this we aren't. It's in comics.
Right.
I want to read that. What was that? Marvel Premiere number 14?
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally want to read that one.
Now, are we all cleared up on this character, comic series, and film history? If you answered yes, now let's move on with the new film starring Benedict Cumberbatch.
Oh, wait, Richard. Before we go into the film and the press conference, we got to see who's at the door.
More trick-or-treaters!
Wait.
There's someone actually
Someone at the
our
door. Someone really wants to come in. Whoa.
Who is that?
Man, come on, answer. I know you're home. I see the lights on. I hear you talking in there. Trick or treat!
What are you actually doing here at the house?
I want my candy. How else am I supposed to get it if I don't come to the house?
I know most people were just Skyping in, but you came all the way here for candy?
Candy? Isn't that what Halloween's all about? How do you send candy through a Skype? It doesn't go through the wires. I want my candy.
All the Skywalkers may recognize that voice as Marco Gushewitz, my co-host on Talking Apes TV, who drove all the way down from North Hollywood to Long Beach to get his candy.
As he was watching our Periscope.
All right, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to hear the talk. I want my candy.
All right, but first, we got to figure out what costume you're wearing now.
Yeah.
This is one of the greatest mashups in history. I didn't make up the character. This is an actual character.
So, wait. Jedi Tink.
Are you Jedi Tink? You look good in those tights, Mark.
I would look good in those tights, but that's not who I am.
All right, so you are a mashup. All right,
Okay.
it's
So
even
describe-
though you're right here, it's hard to figure this out. So,
Well, that's because when I look straight on at you, I look like one of your all-time favorite villains. But when I turn to the side, you can see that I'm somebody else.
So, all-time favorite villain, would that be Darth Vader?
you're Darth Sideways.
No.
Are you all in black?
I am all in black.
Okay. Are you wearing a helmet?
I'm wearing a helmet, and once again, when I'm looking at you straight forward, I look like one. But when I turn to the side...
Wait. You're a cardboard cutout of Darth Vader.
Are you a 2D Darth Vader?
No.
Because if you were, that wouldn't be a great costume because it doesn't look anything like it.
No. Here, look, let me turn to the side.
Okay, that's a little bit better. Are
those-
you Darth Urko?
No, more from the 70s.
All right, can you give us the two things that you are mashing up? Because it's very hard to see from here.
Think Richard's favorite universe.
The Star Wars universe.
With one of my personal favorite universes that is not Planet of the Apes.
Wait a minute. Wait.
I got it.
Is it something Muppets?
Yes, it is. It's Star Wars and Muppets.
Okay.
And when there was a Star Wars Muppet crossover in 1980.
Oh.
Was it 1980?
It was 1980.
Okay, so not the 70s, it was 1980.
It was 1980 to promote The Empire Strikes Back.
Oh.
Right. You know the years better than me, so.
Actually, that was aired on January 16th, 1980.
Because that's your
which
birthday.
was my 11th birthday.
Wow.
But you know what? This is not about me. This is about Mark
so
and his costume.
I'm still in the dark. What is it?
All right, now, Sarah, name some Muppet characters.
Okay, so for some reason the eagle comes to mind.
Sam the Eagle?
Sam the Eagle.
No.
Okay.
Think
Fozzie.
Bird.
Oh,
Mark, you give her some more hints.
Bird. Think weirdo, like your husband.
the one with the long nose? What's his?
Yes, but I want you to tell me his name. No hints, Richard. Let's see how long this takes.
I won't give her any hints, but that hint right there was very gonzo.
Okay.
You gotta be more specific.
Oh, okay.
Was it Gonzo?
Yeah. And when Gonzo did his little mashup, who was he?
What, for Muppet Babies?
No, this was on the Muppet Show.
Oh, I don't know.
Richard's chomping at the bit. He wants to give it away.
Was he Darth Vader?
Ooh, pick me! Pick
Was
me!
he Darth
I know
Vader?
it!
What,
Ooh.
Hermione? What?
No, I'm Horseshack. Ooh!
What, Hermione?
Horseshack.
I don't know what that is.
And that's why she doesn't know the answer to who my costume is.
All right, Mark, go ahead and tell her the character name and the mashup we're looking at here.
Well, when I'm looking straight at the camera, I look like Darth Vader. But when I turn sideways and you see the nose...
Yes.
It is, Richard, you want to...
Darth Nader!
There you go.
Aww.
One of the best mashups in television movie history.
Okay, yes it does.
There you go. You know what, Mark?
Leave it to Gonzo.
You did a fantastic job, so you will not leave empty-handed.
Okay.
You will get a Casio calculator. And you will get a Matchbox car I found in my neighbor's yard.
Where's the candy?
And look what we have! Easter seals!
Where's the candy?
We have Easter seals!
Where's the
What's
candy?
Easter seals?
Easter, that was what Vincent Price was trying to peddle on the last episode of Talking Apes
Oh.
TV.
Now, let
Inside
me ask you a question.
All right, Mark, thanks for coming
Who played Darth Nader?
Gonzo.
And he's dating a...
Pig?
Chicken.
Chicken.
That lays a...
Egg.
And if I don't get my candy...
He's gonna egg our house. All right, Mark, be on your way. You go to the neighbor's house. They have plenty of candy from us to you.
All right, now on my way there, I will... Well, you'll see.
All right, well, thanks for coming by. If you egg our house, that will not be Urko-tastic. That'll be Urko-less. Is he still out there? All right, let's move on with the show. Now, with that, let's continue our Doctor Strange coverage with the press conference as well as our thoughts on the film. But don't worry, we're not going to give anything away, including the tag.
Yes.
Tags, plural.
Now, one thing we want to start with is a who's who and what's what. Because when we were watching the film, we didn't get this primer. We had no idea, and all these names were flying at us. So we were confused.
Yeah, so we could have really used this crash course as well as this. We're going to give you right now this who's who and what's what in the Doctor Strange universe.
Because there's some names that sound very the same.
Now, the ancient one, that's Tilda Swinton. She is the teacher of Doctor Strange, and she teaches those in the mystical arts.
Yes, she's the one who,
So that's a pretty straightforward one to know. But when they did say the ancient one, since she's like in her early 30s, I kept thinking, wait a minute, are they talking about Tilda or is it someone else? But yes, the ancient one is Tilda Swinton, Dr. Stephen Strange's teacher.
Okay. Then we have Mordo. Now, Mordo is played by Chiwetel Ejiofor. I'm sorry if I totally messed that up. And he's basically the right hand to the Ancient One and Doctor Strange's battle buddy.
And once again, played by Chiwetel Ejiofor.
Yes, that.
Oh, I just wanted to see if I could say that name. I don't know if I did or not.
Yes.
All right, now, Caecilius is played by Mads Mikkelsen. So the Star Wars fans are like, hey, that's the guy from Rogue One.
Yes.
But his name is Caecilius. And that was one of those names that when you first hear it out of context, you wait a minute, who is this again?
Right.
So
yeah, like if you're not seeing him on screen and someone says Caecilius, now you just know that that's Mads Mikkelsen.
And he's the one-time student of the Ancient Ones who broke off to form his own sect. Now, he's a really interesting villain because he does the wrong thing for the right reason, just like Darth Vader in Star Wars.
Yeah?
Yeah, when they have a motivation behind their actions, it makes them such a much more interesting villain.
And well-rounded character,
Yes.
I would say.
So Caecilius, Mads Mikkelsen.
All right. And now, here we have the next name on our list is Dormammu. Wait, what was that again? Dormammu.
And that's my favorite whale over at SeaWorld. No, that's Shamu. That's Shamu.
Shamu.
All right, never mind.
So Dormammu, this is where I got confused. So Dormammu, he's kind of the main villain. He's a demonic being that lies in an alternate dimension without time.
So he's like the Emperor, whereas Caecilius is the Darth Vader.
Yes, absolutely.
And Dormammu, if you're a fan of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, he looks like Zordon. He's that big floating head in space.
Yeah, so I think I got confused when they said Dormammu and then Mordo. And, they say these things fast and you're like, wait, how is this spelled?
Right.
So Dormammu is the big bad. Mordo is the battle. He's a buddy. He's a buddy of Doctor Strange. So.
Yeah, so just think he's the big floating head in space. Dormammu.
Yes.
And then we come to the Eye of Agamotto.
Now, that's not a person.
Not a person. This is the little amulet that's hanging around Doctor Strange's neck.
Yes.
And this is the powerful talisman that can harness time.
And you know what that's going to also be? The Doctor Strange 10K medal.
Like we were saying earlier, yeah, that is the Doctor Strange 10K medal. And I can't wait to have my own Eye of Agamotto.
I know. So cool.
So this is one of those other names when they end with an O or
yes.
U, like Mordo and Agamotto and Dormammu. You see now when you're watching the movie, you're trying to stay ahead with the time traveling plot, which always confuses me. Unless you throw Biff Tannen in there, otherwise they can get really out of hand.
And the almanac.
Yeah.
Once you have an almanac to know where you are, then we're good.
There is no DeLorean in this movie, so if you're expecting one, don't. All right, so Eye of Agamotto is the necklace that Doctor Strange is wearing.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, now, with that all settled, we all know where we are. Let's now tell everyone what we thought of Doctor Strange. So, Sarah, what were your impressions after we left the theater?
All right, so my impressions, okay, so we saw it in 3D.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right? And in my opinion, honestly, this movie, I think you need to see it in 3D to really have that full effect because there are some really amazing effects. And out of all the Marvel movies, I think Guardians of the Galaxy and this Doctor Strange really stand out in terms of their visuals. And I think it's really worth it to see this in 3D and in even IMAX 3D if you can. In fact, I want to go. Let's go to IMAX 3D with this one.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
With all the big visuals, it'll just wrap you around itself and incorporate you within Doctor Strange's world.
Well, and one of my favorite things about the 3D was, some of their effects when they're using their hands to create different magic things. So I think that was where it really stood out for me. All right. And also about story-wise, I thought it was actually very similar to Star Wars.
Right.
There's kind of a learning from a master. There's a guy who's plucked from his normal life. So in that way, you could definitely see those parallels going on. And in terms of the tone, I really felt that this really kept that Marvel tone because it had a lot of funny things. Not only just the dialogue was funny, but a lot of even the props and some of the, non-dialogue stuff was really funny. They did a great job on that.
Yeah, for me, this was your basic origin story.
Yes.
With an Inception Batman Begins feel, where with the Inception, you're in another dimension, you're in another time is slowed down. And with Batman, you have a character who has to go somewhere else to learn a whole different way of thinking.
Right.
Because Stephen Strange, he's a very arrogant character. You get that a lot with the doctors who are all so full of themselves because they're saving lives constantly, but gets into their head a little bit too much. Saving lives is the ultimate superhero feat. But this guy here, he's just a little too into himself, a little too arrogant. Right. Now, that's one of the things that I had trouble with was his character. Here you are learning from the master, at the foot of the master, but yet you can't get out of your own way to listen and take the time it's going to take to heal yourself. Not going to happen overnight. So it was his arrogance that really put me off. Okay. I know you kind of see it with Tony Stark.
Right.
But Tony Stark wasn't at the foot of a master trying to learn something new. He did it all himself. And that was just his snarky way. But now here you are in someone else's land. You know what? Just chill and listen.
Now, over the course of this film, did you find yourself liking Doctor Strange a little better or not really?
No, for me, his attitude, there was no arc. Of course, within the character, there is an arc, which happened a little too quickly. You don't know how long he was in this land learning to the point where it's the end of the movie and he becomes a full-fledged superhero. You don't really know, but it's not years.
Right,
it's not
or it doesn't
that
seem
long.
like years.
Right,
anyway.
right. And he gets to be this superhero a little too quick.
Right, although maybe the additional gray hair was meant to imply that there was a couple years in there, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it.
Well, he's always had those streaks of gray, so if they added more, then I didn't notice.
Right.
Now, the 3D effects, going into the effects, were fantastic. You gotta really see this in 3D, and if you can see it in 3D IMAX, so much the better.
Absolutely. So those are our initial thoughts on this film after seeing it once. And let's see, where would you rank this movie, Richard, in the Marvel or origin films?
Well, I don't think there's a bad film in the whole lot.
Okay.
Now, with that said, I think this goes on the bottom.
Oh,
that doesn't mean it's the worst.
Mm-hmm.
By far, it's not the worst.
Right.
I don't think they have a bad film in this series. It's like with Harry Potter or Star Wars. You can't say there's a bad film in the lot, but you may have your most favorite, your second most favorite, your third most favorite, and so on. So with that, I think this goes maybe on the bottom, just because I couldn't get around his arrogant character. I just don't like those arrogant characters who just because they can't figure out what's going on, they throw a little temper tantrum.
Okay.
And how about you?
I think for me it might be it's still so soon to rank it, but I know when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, oh wow, immediately that was one of my favorites, and it ranked pretty far up there. Whereas after this one, I didn't feel that way as much. And that's what I'm comparing it most to is Guardians of the Galaxy, just because they're a little similar in the fact.
When you walked out of that film, you just felt like $1 million bucks.
Yeah, yeah.
And this one here, you walked out and you thought, this was a really good movie, really fun to watch.
Right.
But we've kind of seen it before.
Yeah, so I think I definitely enjoyed Guardians better, Ant-Man better. Thor and Cappy are up there, obviously, because Thor and Cappy.
And Iron Man.
Yeah.
The whole Marvel Cinematic Universe off.
Yeah, so I guess that would definitely be at least 2/3 down.
Unless you want to count Howard the Duck, which was the first Marvel film.
Oh. So I think it would be about 2/3 down for me.
Okay.
But, yeah, I'm not sure what's underneath. I don't know. It's hard to tell without.
Well, there was so much going on that you definitely want to see it twice. And
definitely.
When you do see it twice, you'll see it again for the first time.
Right. And I think one of our Skywalkers on Periscope had mentioned that, ranking all the Marvel films, it's kind of like choosing your favorite ice cream. So it's like, well, which is your least favorite ice cream? It's still good.
That's what I meant by your favorite Star Wars film. There's not a bad one. You might have one that's your least favorite.
Right. But it's still ice cream.
Right.
So it's still good.
Well, Star Wars is not ice cream.
Well,
although it does taste just as good.
Yes. Star Wars is mint chocolate chip all the way.
And now, of course, we've got to mention the tags. We're not going to tell you what the tags are, of course. But there's 2 of them. And the second one, whoa. It throws everything upside down.
And let's just say I liked it.
Well, you liked the first one. Because it had some eye candy.
Oh.
The second one was a game changer.
Oh, that's right.
Okay. All right. Now, like with Ant-Man, this film had a whole different tone to it, where Ant-Man was a pure-out comedy, or Captain America was a conspiracy theory film.
Yeah.
This one here had a whole different mystic feel that we haven't had before.
Exactly. And you know what? We went to that press conference where we heard from the directors and the cast, and now, right away, we heard from Kevin Feige, who, of course, is the producer and the overseer of Marvel, and the director, Scott Derrickson, on how they went about creating this psychedelic world of Doctor Strange. So let's get into this, you guys.
It'll be our 14th film within the MCU, and we always say we have to push the boundaries, we have to keep surprising people, we have to keep making them unique and different. And certainly this movie and this character fits all of that. And also tapping into other dimensions and tapping into sort of that supernatural realm of the Marvel comic universe is going to come in handy, as we move forward throughout the cinematic universe. So the timing was perfect.
Scott. I mean, Kevin's the one who greenlights the movie, so he's the official answer. I mean, I think that the comics, as a fan of the comics, growing up with the comics, Doctor Strange was, product of the 60s and was a big breath of fresh air into the world of comics at that time. And as a fan watching movies, I felt ready for some new, daring, weird left turns, in the world of comic books and the MCU. I think Guardians of the Galaxy was that. I was so pleasantly surprised when I saw how bold that movie was. So when I came in to meet on Doctor Strange, my approach was, let's make this as weird in the MCU as the comic was in the comic book world in the 60s, and that's what we tried to do.
Now, do you think this film will be too out there for the kids?
Oh, honestly, I think kids might be the ones who can wrap their brains around it the best.
Really?
Yeah, just because kids have more open minds than adults, I would say. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, but I think just like with when I was growing up, this wasn't a comic book that appealed to me because it was a little bit too cerebral. I think it will be that way for kids. They'll love the eye candy, but
right.
I don't think they'll really get their head around the main premise.
Okay.
So I'm very, very eager to see how this does at the box office, and I'm sure it's going to do well, but I don't think it's going to do Captain America well,
no,
or Iron Man, or even Ant-Man.
This film now Marvel has set a precedent with Captain America Civil War with how many superheroes were in that? 12? And this one only has one? What? Oh, we're spoiled now.
Yeah, but I think they did a great job with the effects, and you don't want to just be effects heavy just to be effects heavy, but that will be enough eye candy for the kids.
Right. In fact, we heard the director, Scott Derrickson, he talked about the scope of the effects and the different ways he was attempting to use them.
I mean, the challenge was to try to make a movie that is as visually progressive by movie standards as the Ditko art was in the 60s. Our primary source of inspiration was the early Stan Lee, Steve Ditko comics, and that artwork is still progressive. You look at a lot of the panels in the comics, and that was our primary source of inspiration, and visual effects have just caught up to where we can do some of the things that we did in this movie. And I think that the trick of it was to not hold back and to push ourselves as far as possible to do original things with the set pieces. I remember in some of my early meetings saying that I felt like my goal was for every set piece in the movie to be the weirdest set piece in any other movie, but each one of them would be uniquely odd and unusual and refreshing. And that comes out of movie fandom more than anything else, because that's what I want to see. I want to see event movies that use visual effects, use visual effects sequences for more than just mass destruction, but get more creative with them and find new ways to do them and give me as an audience member some kind of visceral experience that's unique. Because the movies that do that are memorable and change, and change the way you feel about cinema in general. And I don't know if we achieved that, but it was certainly the goal to push ourselves into something new and something fresh, so that the audience would be genuinely surprised in moments and get their money's worth.
So overall, how do we feel about the effects, Richard? Do they rely too much on effects more than the story?
Yes. However, you need it in a film like this, all about mysticism and other dimensions. You can't do it without special effects and an overabundance of special effects, unless you're talking about the 1978 movie, the TV movie where we just played the trailer.
Oh, boy.
The only special effect in that movie was Peter Hooton's mustache.
Well, I think it's interesting that they just tried to push themselves as much as they could, even though for us who aren't in that special effects world, we think, oh, now they can do anything with special effects. Apparently, they were really pushing the envelope with this film.
Now, do you think because of all the overabundance of special effects, that's why they had to push the film from summer to a fall release? But then again, if they did do it during the summertime, where would it go?
Well, yeah, because
in May you had Captain America.
Right.
And then in August you had Pete's Dragon, but still it's a Disney film.
Right.
And then in November, the later part of November, you're going to have Moana, followed by Rogue One. So,
Yeah, I know. Well, apparently we can thank Benedict Cumberbatch for the change. So here is Scott Derrickson talking about waiting for Cumberbatch.
Well, we moved the release schedule.
Yeah, we pushed the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, what happened was Kevin and I talked about who we wanted in the role, and we landed on Benedict pretty quickly, and just felt like he was right. I flew to London, met with him, explained the movie. I think I had some of my concept art at that point, and Benedict really wanted to do it, but he was doing Hamlet in theater in London, so we were a summer release movie. So it wasn't going to work, and I came back and I met with a bunch of other actors, good actors, but I just felt like it had to be Benedict, and Kevin, to his credit, agreed, and so we pushed the schedule for him.
For Benedict.
Very glad they did.
Yes, please.
No, it's incredibly flattering. It's a weight of responsibility as well, obviously, but it's a great motivator to try and do a good job and fulfill, the promise they've shown in you. So, or that they've given to you. I always get that phrase wrong, but you know what I mean. It's a good thing. It's a very good place to start from.
So now, what did you think of Benedict Cumberbatch's casting as Doctor Strange?
Well, he's great to look at. Like, I'm not a Cumber beep, but I do enjoy, like, he has a very interesting face and very intelligent eyes, which is why I think he's tapped to play all these super intelligent characters. Like in The Imitation Game, he plays Alan Turing, and he plays, Khan, who is very smart in Star Trek Into Darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And also Sherlock Holmes, who of course is super smart. So I think he's just tapped to play these roles just because I think he himself is intelligent, and that just comes through in his eyes.
When I heard that Robert Downey Jr. was being cast as Iron Man or Chris Evans as Captain America, my first thoughts were, or who would be your next choice? Just because Robert Downey Jr., not a big guy, and he's not really the Iron Man Tony Stark. His attitude is the type, but his appearance, not so much. Okay. When comparing him to the comic book, which is what I was comparing him to. Chris Evans, he was already the Invincible Torch.
Okay.
So let's pick somebody else. But when they said that Benedict was going to be Doctor Strange, I thought, got it. Move on.
Why is that?
Well, his face, Doctor Strange's face just has this unique look and very angular. And
features.
That's exactly what I pictured when I first heard that he was going to be playing him. Thought that's the only choice.
Okay.
I know they were considering others like Ewan McGregor.
I know.
Not so much. Jake Gyllenhaal, nope. But Benedict, you got it. You got it.
Nice.
Now, they pushed the film back 4 months, like we were just saying. In your opinion, Sarah, do you think that the film suffered at all? Does it feel rushed?
Well, like if we were saying before, that part where Doctor Strange is learning and becoming Doctor Strange, that part seemed rushed. It didn't seem like it took enough time for him to become, master of all these mystical arts.
So you think that maybe if they had an extra 4 months, they could have done some reshoots?
Perhaps, yeah. Perhaps, but I guess Benedict was playing.
When you say reshoots, you gotta say it, reshoots.
Why is that?
Always a bad word.
Oh, okay.
All right, so now let's hear from Scott Derrickson, the director, about the schedule bump.
Because we moved the schedule for Benedict, we had a shorter post-production period, really, than we wanted.
Sorry again.
But to Kevin and Louis D'Esposito's credit, we hired more vendors to start all at once than you normally would have. So we had a lot of the stuff coming in all at the same time. But that was one of the most creatively rewarding parts of the whole process, was to try to think about not just weird, bizarre images, but to try to think about what can't be done. The final sequence of the movie was the result of me just thinking, well, what can't you do? And this idea of a fight scene going forward while a city's undestroyed backwards. Well, you can't. That's impossible. Okay, great, let's do it. And so we designed the scene and storyboard. I'd storyboard out things and then work with the previs team and get it all down and how it looked, and then we figured out how to make it. And so it was about trying to establish, and the same thing like with what we call the magical mystery tour, the whole mind trip scene. It was about drawing out every single shot, and some of it being impossible to do. And the result was that the visual effects vendors had to sometimes help us figure out, well, how do we do this, because it is unprecedented. It hasn't been done before. And some of those ideas didn't work. Sometimes we would try things and we were overshooting. But me personally, I felt like every day I got up for work and I thought, somebody's going to come knock on my door and say, you got to back off. This is just getting too weird. And it never happened. I mean, Marvel was really completely behind the idea of trying to push the boundaries of what a set piece in a tentpole movie can be. And that was always the goal.
So like we've mentioned before, the visuals in this film are super impressive. See it in 3D IMAX if we can. Now we know why, straight from the director. So let's move on to what it's like to be Doctor Strange.
Now this is always an interesting part when you get to hear from the actor himself about what it was like to become that superhero.
Yeah.
Every little boy's dream.
I was sort of giddy like a child at Halloween. It was the first moment, really, properly. And Alex spotted it, our brilliant designer, who's done a few of these films, and she went, "Oh, you're having the superhero moment, aren't you?" And I went, "Yeah, I think I am." It really was the penny drop moment for me. This film had lots of alluring qualities, lots of things that made me really want to go to it, and this character in particular, and in particular what Scott and Kevin were pitching to me as his trajectory, his origin story, and where he was going to lie within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. But the journey he goes on was sort of supremely important to me. And the qualities of drama, but also great humour amongst that profundity and that oddness and unique weirdness and newness that we were going to bring visually. So I kind of put the hero thing on the back burner. So when I first had that moment, it really was quite giddy. I just did end up just giggling. And then the second time it really hit home was near the end of the main body of the shoot. When we were in New York, we were on Fifth Avenue, and there were as many paparazzi as there were crew. It was getting a little bit surreal, but we were on Fifth Avenue and running down it, sort of skipping really, but jumping to fly. And there was the Empire State Building in the same eye line, and it was just a moment of magic to think that the men and women that first crafted these comics on the floors of some of that building and other buildings in that town.
Didn't you go into Forbidden Planet, or you went into a comic book store?
I went into a comic book store, which was the last day shooting in New York, and Scott was just like, "Dude, look,
I have the video on my phone. I've never sent it to anybody but Benedict. It was a spontaneous thing. He said, "There's a comic book store right there," and he was in full. Someone pointed out Dr. Strange. I said, "We have to go in," and he goes, "We shouldn't we?" I go, "I'll film it. It'll just be us." And we were getting ready to shoot. And I said, "Okay," and I put the camera on him, and then he said, "Okay." He introduced himself. He said, "Okay, I'm about to go into this comic book store," and I followed him in. And the people who were there couldn't believe it was Doctor Strange. He just
Did you buy a Doctor Strange?
And he bought a couple of Doctor Strange comics.
No, I didn't have any money, so I didn't buy any comics. But I offered my services. I said, "Look, if the film doesn't work out, I'll come and stack the shelves for you."
That's right.
Might be a bit heartbreaking, like, Doctor Strange, issue number 5. Oh, God.
Yeah, I remember the comic book store owner said that'd be fine, but you had to keep your American accent.
That's right.
You're going to work there.
Which would have probably amused him as much as anything else. But no, it was a magic moment. No pun intended. It was very special and utterly, like a lot of things in this film, very sort of not searched for. They came about for the right reasons. It really was the last place we were starting, the last shot of running away from Mads Mikkelsen, and there was that comic book store. It was incredible.
That has got to be a special bonus feature on the Doctor Strange DVD.
Yes, and apparently, so it's not on film, it's on the director's camera phone.
Which is the best way to do it. And I hope they did it very candid camera-like.
I would think so. He said he just followed him in, followed him into the shop. Oh my gosh, can you imagine?
Now, this is the kind of thing that really blows my mind. Like, when we go to Comic-Con, there'll be a panel of not the actors, but the actors in costume playing that character doing the panel.
Yes.
Just like when Ben Mendelsohn went to Celebration Europe as director Krennic.
Yes!
That I wouldn't have been able to handle that.
Or like when Loki came out on stage.
Tom Hiddleston came out as Loki. He wasn't Tom Hiddleston. He was Loki.
He was acting like him too, like taking the audience.
But now here's not Benedict Cumberbatch walking in this comic shop as Doctor Strange. This is Doctor Strange walking into the comic book shop.
Oh my gosh! I'm buying some Doctor Strange
there
comics.
Has got to be footage. I will buy the DVD and I will break it if that footage is not on there.
Now with that story, they have to. They have to deliver on that. Wow. All right, well, we all know that Star Wars is like family, but Marvel has that power too. So let's hear what some of the actors had to say about being a part of that Marvel family. So first of all, we'll hear from Rachel McAdams, who plays Christine Palmer, then Tilda Swinton, the Ancient One, and then Benedict Wong, who plays Wong, the librarian.
What a huge stretch that must have been.
Well, I mean, I was just thrilled because of this incredible track record, because of that so much care and attention and consideration is going to go into the film before you've even begun. So, and that you're going to get to work with the best of the people, the best of the best in the world, what they do. So it's just this treasure trove of talent, and so I just couldn't wait to dive into that.
Well, how about Benedict and Tilda? This has got to be new for you too.
What do you think? I keep saying that it's a bit like being invited to join the circus. You get invited to be the bearded lady or the painted gentleman or something, and you may have a chance in the future to play with a clown or learn a bit of trapeze or work with the ponies with the plumes. It's really the reason that feels like a correct way to describe it is that everybody's so psyched. I mean, even the Sorcerer Supreme, Kevin Feige, is just the super fan of all super fans, and he's the master of the big top, and it just feels such a lucky break for everybody who's working in that circus top, don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm so thrilled to be a part of this. I mean, growing up as a kid, I was always collecting Marvel comics and especially Spider-Man comics, and it's just lovely to see my investment as a child is the fruition in my adult life and
education.
Yeah. So just a wonderful time.
And now Mads Mikkelsen, he was there too, and as we know, he will be in Rogue One, so it was pretty cool to see him in person. Now, a bit of his personality comes out as he talks about joining the Doctor Strange team and what it's like to play the villain.
Basically, half of my life I was reading comic books, and the other half I was watching Bruce Lee. So when Scott was pitching this story for me, I think 10 minutes within the pitch, he said, and there's a lot of kung fu and flying stuff. I said, whoa, hold on, rewind. What bit? The kung fu bit. I'm on. Let's go. It's a childhood dream coming true. It's just amazing that you, at the age of 108, get the chance to fly around in orange
He doesn't
clothes.
move like a 108-year-old, I can tell you that much.
Yeah, in the evening I do. Yeah. So no, it was a dream coming true. I mean, it's something that as a kid you were looking at. It's like, obviously you would never dream about being up there, but you identified with the characters, right? And I always play all characters as a hero. I mean, I think we have to look at it that way. The key to any good villain, which I think was very clear from the beginning in this script, is that they have a point. It's not completely crazy what they're saying. There is a point. Even in Doctor Strange's eyes, he does believe I have a point. Even though it's for a fraction, it's there. And I think that's the key for a good villain. You have to have something the audience identify with. So he doesn't just go ballistic and say, I'm going to take over the world, and because I can. It's fun. No, it's the reason, So we try to make him a man who believes in what he's talking about. Somebody who believes utterly in every word he says.
Now, I think Mads Mikkelsen plays one of the best all-time villains as Caecilius because he's got such an agenda toward what he thinks is going to be the right thing. He may have to do a lot of wrong things to do that right thing, but you gotta love that kind of character. Yeah. Which I think I think his character is a little bit better than Doctor Strange's, just because his arrogance came out of wanting to make the world a better place, whereas Doctor Strange, his arrogance just came from everyone always saying how great he was, and it just went to his head.
Huh. Well, as I said, Benedict Cumberbatch is always playing those very intelligent characters that seem kind of similar. Even when watching Doctor Strange, I thought, he seems kind of like Sherlock Holmes' character.
So he's like always too smart for the room?
Yeah, exactly. He plays a lot of those kind of characters.
Okay.
Even Alan Turing in The Imitation Game was like that as well. So here is Benedict Cumberbatch himself explaining the differences between the different characters that he's played.
The key to the Doctor Strange is at the beginning is his arrogance, his confidence, smartest guy in the room, and the fall and the humbling he goes through. Is that like playing Holmes, or is that completely different?
Well, I'd say that fall's still going on, to be honest, in that particular franchise. But so no, I'd say it's slightly different. I mean, there's in the Venn diagram of similarities, there is the crossover of clever and arrogant, I suppose, and workaholic. But Strange is a materialist. He's egocentric, yes, but he's got charm and he's witty. He's liked by his colleagues. He's had relationships with them. He's not he's not the sort of cut-off outsider, sociopathic, asexual, obsessive that Sherlock is. So, there's a world of difference, and he doesn't, he lives in New York and eats bagels every now and again, so that's also different. He's a man of the world, as opposed to Sherlock, who isn't.
All right, so after hearing Benedict Cumberbatch himself talk about his character, Doctor Strange, do you have a little more likability for him?
I want to. I really, really want to, but that still doesn't change what I saw on the screen, and you shouldn't have to hear an explanation to like the character.
Yeah.
So he wasn't a bad character. I just am not a fan of the arrogants who can't get out of their own way. But what I did like about his character when he was trying to do those Karate Kid movements with his hands, trying to get those right moves down.
Yes.
Then it was fun because you could really see the concentration in his face and him trying to get it and after years of being the best surgeon with his hands. Here he is trying to do something else with his hands and he just can't get it.
Right. Well, Tilda Swinton, of course, the Ancient One, she had to be super on top of all that hand choreography.
Oh, she was the main master teacher.
Absolutely. So let's hear a bit from her about that hand choreography thing.
Well, that hand choreography is a thing called tutting. We had a proper master working with us for weeks, I would say. I mean, just as much as learning martial arts, we were learning how to tut with J Funk, who is somewhere here possibly, but if he's not, you should go on YouTube and look for J Funk, because he really knows how to do it. And he's got properly magic fingers, like, not like our fingers, like real non-CGI fingers. And he taught us a series of extraordinary, very precise movements, which have to be super precise, because if you're going to go like that, you have to be at a certain point where the line is going to be drawn between your fingers, and you can't, of course, be in front of your face, which was always my issue. I was always going in front of my face with it. And then you have to be exactly the right width so that you're in the frame. And it was super precise and kind of hairy, but really good fun.
But she was brilliant. I mean, she's being very humble about it. She was incredibly good at it, and also because she was instructing Strange at the same time. I mean, there was some quite heavy dialogue going on while she was, drawing a mandala and punching energy and doing very delicate stuff. You did runes with brushes and all sorts of magic stuff.
But it's such fun because you have these extraordinary visual effects directors saying, by the way, this is going to look like this, and they'll show you one shot and you'll go, it's going to look like that? And they say, yeah, trust us, it will. And then you kind of forget that. And then if you're lucky enough, as I have, to have seen the film and seen what they did with it, it's beyond anything they warned us it was going to be. And that's kind of why we look fairly relaxed about it, because we had no idea. I think if we'd known it was going to be so awesome, we would have been like this.
So now she's like the Mr. Miyagi of Doctor Strange.
Yep.
Mr. Miyagi meets Yoda.
Yeah, definitely. She's definitely the Yoda character in this film. And, she did a great job with all that hand tutting. And of course, that's one of the reasons you guys should see it in 3D.
To see the hand tutting?
Yes, and the...
Hashtag hand tutting.
Exactly. Yeah, so definitely see this film if you can in that IMAX 3D. And after hearing this press conference, I'm going to enjoy it all the more when I see it again.
Right. Now, if there's one thing everyone should take away from this film, it's the theme of not texting while driving. And you'll know why when you see the movie. Kids, don't text and drive.
No, bad. Now, I want to give a shout out to Flicks in the City on YouTube and Joe Deckelmeyer of That Hashtag Show on YouTube, both of whom shared their audio with me when mine didn't turn out like I'd like it to. So thank you so much to them.
Yeah, big props. All right, now let us know what your thoughts are on Doctor Strange when it comes out on November 4th and how it ranks in your opinion with the rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Very eager to hear what your opinions are, Skywalkers.
Tweet at us at SkywalkingPod.
Trick or treat.
Who's that at the door? Oh!
Hey, it's our good friend Donald Wicks.
Oh, Donald!
Hey, Donald.
Hey, Richard. Hey, Sarah.
Love your costume.
The best way I could describe my costume is that I am collecting my candy in a computer memory core,
Whoa, so he must be a droid of some kind.
or I am a person and I'm wearing an orange jumpsuit and I have a cool mustache.
Oh, well,
Wait
okay.
a minute.
Are you Biggs Darklighter?
No.
No.
But an orange jumpsuit. Wait, would that be the ice cream maker?
It might be. What's his name?
Wait a minute.
Oh.
Are you Wilro Hood?
Ding, ding, ding. I am Wilro Hood.
Whoa! Now, where's your other friends?
Well, I left them so I can come to your house and get all the candy.
Aww. Well,
I love your choice of trick-or-treat basket. It is an ice cream maker. And
It is.
You know what? For you, we have a Captain Phasma ceramic coaster. We have a Good Times monkey balloon. There you go.
Nice.
And we have a Los Angeles Mission donation request. All for you, Donald.
Wow. I am flabbergasted.
Well, you run along now, and you be careful out there. It's a good thing you're wearing a bright orange jumpsuit.
yeah.
If the Empire takes control of the city, you just run. Run to the next house.
I will do that.
All right. Take care. Thanks for coming by.
All right, thanks for the treats.
The Empire's taking control of the city. I advise everyone to leave before more Imperial troops arrive.
Oh, there he goes. He's off. Neverland on Alderaan.
Oh, he's already taken off. Look at him.
Ice cream!
Look,
Ice cream!
look at him go.
Wow.
Boy, Donald can haul.
Yeah.
Shout-outs, Skywalker shout-outs. Which Skywalkers get props from here in Neverland? Who has tweeted out? Shout-out. Who has photobombed? Shout-out. Who has shared a post? Shout-out.
We got another Halloween card.
Aww.
This time, it comes from the Chick Fence.
The chick fence. And I open it up, and oh my gosh, who was on the cover? It's Judy Hopps.
From Zootopia.
Oh, she's so cute.
It's a Zootopia-themed Halloween card.
She says, "Trust me, you're not an average mammal. That's why we're wishing you a
Furtastic Halloween."
Aww.
Thank you, Michael and Michelle, the parents of Chickafant.
That is so sweet.
It's always so special when you Skywalker send us cards.
Yes. Aw. Awesome. Well, we had quite a few tweetwalkers this week tweeting at us. Want to hear what they said?
I know, because I saw them all.
You did? Have you been tweeting?
No, I'm just trying to join in here.
Oh, okay. Well, at One John Jedi, he said, "Glad I'm listening to Skywalking Pod instead of The Walking Dead." The Walking Dead premiered this Sunday.
Oh.
Like the new season. So there's a lot of people tweeting about that. So One John Jedi decided to tweet about us.
Thank you, One John Jedi.
Yes. Oh, and then we got a tweet from @Bryce Yelverton, and he said, "Here we are, #lining up for Star Wars Land at Walt Disney World, wearing our Skywalking Pod shirts, and I was the rebel spy. #sorry, Richard."
Yeah, you're not sorry. Yeah, you know what? I just accepted the fact I will never be the rebel spy.
Aw.
I've just accepted that. So thanks for rubbing it in, Bryce. But has your wife Carly, has she been rebel spy yet? I don't know.
Probably, honestly.
Probably.
She's a girl.
You know what? An empty seat will get it before I do.
Aw.
All right, let's move right along.
Okay. Well, now, Juan John was listening to us instead of watching Walking Dead. Well, Trisha Barr, she tweeted, "Not feeling great tonight. Tucked up in bed, listening to Skywalking Pod, podcast chicken soup." Aww.
Boy, she's been knocking out of the park with these slogans.
Yeah, right?
First the tour guide through fandom.
Yep.
And now the podcast chicken soup.
Isn't that sweet?
Love it. Hey, you know what? Trisha Barr should be a writer.
Yeah, I say so. Aw.
Keep them coming, Trisha.
Yes.
Keep them coming, and I hope you're feeling better.
All right, I want to give a shout out to Jeannie Gallo, who has the blog The Princess Papers. Now, every week, she is the first to share our episode on Facebook, and we really appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Jeannie. She was on our show not too long ago.
Yeah, she was talking about Walt Disney World and some Star Wars Land info over there.
Thank you, Jeannie.
Yeah.
But now, let's talk about giving away stuff.
Yeah, speaking of Facebook and sharing, we have a contest, and we want to give a big thank you to Patty and Michael Hammond, who have graciously offered some gifts to give away. All right, Skywalkers, this is what they are. They are 2 adorable Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Funko Pops of Agent Coulson and Agent May. We figured since this is kind of Doctor Strange, like a Marvel-themed episode, this would be the perfect episode to give these away.
It's all in the family.
It is.
They're not all in the family Funkos. They're Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So I don't want anyone to think they're getting a little Archie Bunker Funko.
Oh, wait, what?
Boy, the way Glenn Miller played.
Songs that made the hit parade.
Guys like us, we had it made. Those were the days.
Just because you said all in the family?
Yeah, I don't want anyone to think, oh, wait a minute, is there going to be a Meathead and an Edith Funko bobblehead?
No, they're going to be Agent May and Agent Coulson. Agent Coulson is the one who cut me in line.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, so it's not going to be Archie Bunker.
No.
Okay, all right, gotcha.
All right. Now, this pair will be given to a lucky Skywalker, so here is what you need to do if you want to win them. I am going to post a Facebook post of this episode 142 on our Skywalking Through Neverland Facebook page. Now, this particular post will be clearly marked as the contest post, so all you have to do is share that post all over Facebook. You can share on your timeline. You can share in your various groups. You can share on friends' timelines, whatever you want. However many times you share it, you will be entered to win that many times. So, let's say, Richard, you share 10 times in 10 different groups.
Mm-hmm.
You have 10 times more chances to win.
Awesome.
I know.
Does that mean I'm going to win the not Archie Bunker, Agent Coulson?
You would win both. So one person gets both.
Oh, really?
Yes, this is how this works.
So Agent Coulson and Archie Bunker.
No, Agent Coulson and
Agent
May.
May. Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. I'm still on this All in the Family kick.
Now, we will pick a winner by episode 143, which may not be next week. Just letting you guys know.
Yeah, next week we're planning on doing a classic Marvel Star Wars comics.
Yes. Subject to change, because this is what happens in the podcast world.
I'm glad you put that in there.
Yeah. All right. Well, Skywalkers, go to it. Share, 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 share. Woohoo!
Then we need a little pop Funko of you so we can reenact that scene when Agent Coulson cut you in the line at the Star Wars Force Awakens premiere party.
to grab the pumpkin dessert.
He didn't even say excuse me. He just
did it.
weaseled
And he
right
looked
in
at
there.
me.
So, we need to make a little diorama of that and me looking flabbergasted.
He looked at me and I didn't know what to say because I recognized him. You know, I was like, eh. And the name doesn't come to me right away like it does to you.
Right.
So I was like, eh, eh.
Wait a minute, that
I
hat.
like you on that show that I watch. Yeah, it was terrible.
Go get in Lola and get out of here with your pumpkin dessert. and take baby with you. Don't put her in the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Now, because of this awesome giveaway, we want to announce the Skywalker of the Week.
And how it ties in.
Mike Hammond. Mike Hammond. Mike Hammond, yeah.
Mike Hammond, how exciting! You are the Skywalker of the Week.
And not just because you give away Pop Funkos, but because you are an awesome Skywalker.
That's right. You and Patty, I know Patty says that you guys listen together. So we think that's awesome.
Yeah.
That I know there's families that listen together, there's couples that listen together, and Chica Fence parents listen together.
Yeah, exactly. Your parents listen together.
Yes, they do. Aww.
And my sister listens in tiny, tiny chunks.
It's
you
the
know what?
podcast that brings you together.
I think she's on episode 4 right now.
Who?
My sister.
Your sister?
Yes. She listens to it in very, very tiny chunks. She's got a very sporadic schedule.
Aww.
All right, Mike, congratulations on your Skywalker of the Week jingle. And remember, that is done by Rob Dellinger.
The John Williams of podcasting.
Skywalking through Neverland.
Halloween night is almost upon us, and I know trick-or-treating is fun. Take it from us, because we go every year, but we want everyone to be safe.
So here now is C-3PO with his trick-or-treating safety tips.
Okay, R2, we'll go over this one more time. Trick or treat, smell my feet, give me something good to eat. No, It still doesn't make any sense. Why would anybody want to smell feet? Oh, hello, I am C-3PO, and this is my counterpart, R2-D2. We are here once again at Skywalking Through Neverland to bring you yet further Halloween safety advice. Today we will look at trick-or-treating. Personally, I would go for an oil bath. That does seem quite a treat. A parent or responsible adult should always accompany younglings on their neighbourhood rounds. If your older younglings are travelling alone, plan and review a route which is acceptable to you and agree on a specific time when they should return. Remain on well-lit streets and always use a sidewalk. If no sidewalk is available, walk or roll at the far edge of the roadway facing oncoming traffic. Only cross the street as a group and on established crosswalks. Never cross between parked cars, speeders, transports, or at driveways. Only go to homes with a porch light on, and never enter a home, car, or speeder for a treat. It could be a trick.
It's a trap!
Because pedestrian injuries are most common to younglings on Halloween, remind trick-or-treaters to stay in a group and communicate where they will be going. Always carry a comlink, or as they are called here, a cell phone, for quick communication. Artu, can you think of anything else? Then that should about cover it. We do sincerely hope our Halloween safety advice has been helpful. It was brought to you from Skywalking Through Neverland and the American Academy of Pediatrics. We here at Skywalking Through Neverland would be honoured to hear all about your Halloween stories. Please send us your blogs and or pictures to share at skywalkingthrough-neverland.com, facebook.com/skywalkingthrough-neverland, or tweet them at skywalkingpod. So, do take good care of yourselves, and remember, never land on Alderaan, even if they do have the best candy. I knew we should have loaded up when we had the chance.
Trick or treat!
Hey, it's our good friend Russell Flores.
Wow!
Hey, guys!
Hey,
Happy
Russell.
Halloween!
Happy Halloween to you. Love the costume.
Yeah, I didn't know you were on this block.
Yeah, it took a little bit to find you guys' house, but I finally found it.
The man can find everything at Disneyland, and he's finally found our house.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about this costume here.
Yeah.
I can't really make it out. Give us a hint here.
So it comes from my favorite attraction at Disneyland.
Star Tours. Your Star Tours.
No.
No. Okay.
Pirates.
Pirates. Oh. So are you wearing a pirate hat?
Yes.
Oh, you are wearing a pirate hat.
Wait a minute. Did you just give it away?
No.
Okay.
No. So, let's describe it. Describe your costume a little bit so some of our listeners can hear.
Yeah, since this is an audio podcast, there's only so much we can see.
So it's all red.
All red. Do you have a corset?
Yes, I do.
Are you
Are you Thunder Mountain?
No.
Are you Teacups?
No. He said he's pirate. He's something in the Pirates of the Caribbean. So do you have a big red, fluffy hat?
Yes, I do.
And you have a corset and a red dress, and so that you are the woman who's being auctioned off.
The redhead. You got it.
The redhead. Oh, look at that red wig. Wow. You know, Russell, you look good in red.
It brings out my eyes.
Yeah, I'm almost afraid to ask, but was this your idea?
No, this was my daughter's.
Aww. And what is your...
That's just what he's telling us.
Yeah.
Well, for making the trek all the way over here, we got a couple of goodies here for you.
Yes, we have.
We have a plush Jawa key ring.
Yep.
There you go.
Wow.
We have a hand squeaker. There you go. That's for you. We have
That's going to drive me animals crazy.
we have a Star Wars calendar that's That's in October, so you only have a few more months to use this.
Yeah, it's about 9 months used.
And we have a very dusty Superman doll.
Superman?
I've got...
Superman? What is he doing in here?
Superman?
See.
You know what? I meant Iron Man. I meant Iron Man. Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Hurry up. Give him
okay,
something else,
here
quick.
we go. Here. Well, I've got some BB-8 Mickey ears.
BB-8 Mickey.
Hold
on. Those are mine. Wait, there he goes. Russ, come back here. Those are mine. Russ!
Oh, wow, look at him go. He must have really wanted those ears.
I want them back at Christmas!
This is Peter Renaday. I am the ghost host, and I'm skywalking through Neverland. Happy Halloween.
There's only 51 more days until the release of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Are you ready for another Star Wars block party?
Who's joining us at TCL Chinese Theatre IMAX in Hollywood? If that is you, then listen up, because Ric Peralta of liningup.net is back once again to give us up-to-the-minute details about the line.
Hey, Rick.
Hey, Richard. Hey, Sarah. How you guys doing?
We are doing very well, and after seeing so many Rogue One commercials on, and teasers, and trailers, and toys out there, we're ready for Rogue One.
Oh boy, are we. We too.
And we're ready to line up for Rogue One.
Well, you've come to the right source then.
Awesome. So you had said that there's going to be some new information released. So what's this new news?
Okay, so we're ready to kind of start locking down and officially releasing how this line's going to be a little different. As we talked last time, we're only doing 2 days, which obviously immediately changes things quite a bit. And we're not collecting hours, which changes things quite a bit. So obviously the big question that comes in the past, the seat selection was all based on your hours, right? You spent your time in line, and then you selected your seats based on how many hours you spent in line. If we're not collecting hours, then how do we do seat selection? And this is where the fun begins. So this time around, we are doing our 2-day line starting on Tuesday at 7 p.m. And so we are having some special events happening probably around 8 o'clock that night. So you definitely want to be there. But here's the big incentive: to get there as early as possible, and even if you can't spend the night, just to get there. We will be handing out raffle tickets as you arrive in line. And then we will do a poll each night around 9 o'clock. And those people that are in line at that moment will select their seats at that moment. So we will actually be divvying out the seats each night. So by the time we get around to movie day, everyone will already have their tickets in hand.
All right. What if you can't be there at that specific time?
Well, so that's why we're doing it more than once. So we will do a raffle pull on Tuesday night, a raffle pull on Wednesday night, and then on Thursday we will be doing that raffle pull at noon. Because obviously the movie's that night at the same time. We'll already be in the theater at 9 o'clock.
Right.
So then the people who are there on that Tuesday, they don't get first dibs. They just get a raffle to be chosen later on.
Well, no. We're going to do an actual raffle pull each night. So they will get the raffle ticket. So if you are there on Tuesday, there will be an advantage.
Right.
That you will be amongst the first 30, 40, 100, whoever show up that first day, you will be the first ones to choose your seats.
What if, say, I can be there, but Richard can't?
That's actually a very good question. So I thought we'd covered all of our bases, but yeah, I mean, I suspect that, if you're part of a tandem of sorts like this, then it's probably going to be okay for you to be able to pull for both of you. But I would imagine in reality that, for most people that are coming as a couple, for example, they're not necessarily going to need 4 seats each.
Right.
So that's the idea, is you're going to have access to 4 seats with that ticket, with your raffle ticket. So probably it's going to be a non-issue to begin with.
Okay.
And here, we've got a couple other little fun things that are going to be happening here. So obviously, as I said, we're going to be starting that line on Tuesday, and we're going to have that raffle pull every night to lead in. But on top of that, we wanted to do something for new line members, people that have never actually tried this before. And so on the weekend before the line starts, we're going to do a meet and greet at the theater.
Nice.
Date and time are still to be determined based on premiere and how that might impact availability. But the goal is probably Sunday evening, having a couple-hour meet and greet for anyone, line veterans and new people to come and meet and find out what it's all about.
All right, so that would be December 11th, Sunday.
If we can make Sunday happen, and that's the goal at this point. We're just trying to kind of confirm that availability. But there is going to be an incentive, an advantage, a reason for new people that have never lined up with us before to be there on that meet and greet time. I don't want to say much more, but it's going to be worth your while to come if you're new. Part of the big idea of this is that, of course, the movie's opening the final week of school before holiday break. A lot of kids won't be able to come during the weeknight. So this is going to open up an opportunity for kind of a family-friendly event. Kids that can't do the actual line can come down. Families can come down. Veterans can come down. New people can come down. Everyone can meet, have a pre-party, essentially, of getting to see all your friends again. And we'll get ourselves set up, introduce people that are new to the system, what it's all about, and then we'll have a little something special for those new people.
Oh, nice. Have you guys determined how much that we are contributing?
Yes, absolutely. So what we're doing this time, again, because it's all based on minimum donation rather than minimum hours, it will be $30 will be your cost to get your ticket and donation. So that's $30 per ticket. It's all donation. All that extra is going to be going into helping out Starlight, and that gets you your access. And we are buying out approximately half of the theater.
All right, so if one person gets 4 tickets, then each ticket is $30.
Yes.
So it's $120 per raffle winner.
Correct. If you want all those seats. If you only want 1 seat or 2 seats, then you're just paying $30 per ticket.
Gotcha.
Okay.
We'll again have badges and T-shirts available as well for those that want them. We will be doing a wristband system this time. So that will be our way of essentially guaranteeing that, yes, you've already made your purchase for ticket, you've paid up already, and that you have access to the theater and the restrooms and everything inside if that is the case, that you're going to be there for those kind of hours like we had last time. It's going to be the theater's proof that you're part of our group.
Nice. So is there an option to give more?
Of course, absolutely. You can always give more. We are working with Starlight right now to actively get a website up and running for people to be able to donate, similar to last time. And we are also establishing a PayPal account so that those of you that know you're definitely going to do this with us, you can direct pay your $30 ahead of time, so that we have essentially a kitty up front, so that nobody and one person in the group has to front the several $1,000s to buy out half a theater.
Wow.
This way we can make sure that there's money coming in to pay for that before the event happens. So even before tickets go on sale, you can buy your ticket with us and be guaranteed entry.
And when will that PayPal option open?
Well, our goal was to have this up by the time that your show airs. And so I suspect that probably no later than Friday, maybe Saturday at the latest, we should have the PayPal up. And hopefully we'll also have the Starlight link at the same time. So definitely we'll be posting that as soon as we have it available to launch. Just like any other PayPal account you might do, it'll just be an email address that you're going to post to and say that you're giving the money, and that will tag you down. We'll have your name. We'll know who you are, and you prepaid.
You had mentioned last time that you guys were working on some kind of extra banquet event or something like that.
Yeah, so it looks like just logistically the gala is, that we were thinking about doing is probably not going to be able to happen this time. I know it's a bummer, but part of our plan out of this is understanding that we've all talked about wanting to do this. So that means we can get that rolling almost instantaneously for episode 8. So I feel pretty confident that we will have that happen for the next one. We will still almost definitely have that post-movie party like we did last time upstairs in the 6 with the pizzas and whatnot. So we'll still be able to gather together as a group and discuss what we just experienced. That's still definitely going to happen.
And plenty of opportunity to do plenty of podcast roundtables.
Right?
There you go. Exactly. I know we're getting very excited because a lot of things really rolled into place beautifully in the last couple of days, finalizing these last little bits. I think that the newcomers are going to really be blown away with this thing that we're planning on trying to pull off for the meet and greet. So definitely get the word out. Anyone that's thinking about doing this for the first time, this is the year to do it.
Yeah.
And now has the TCL Mans...
No Mans.
Oh, man.
No Mans.
Oh, man. Okay, that's a good way to remember that. No Man. All right. So then, has the TCL Chinese Theatre IMAX? Did I get it?
Hey, you did it.
Oh, man. Oh, no man. Have they done anything to maybe sweeten the deal since we last spoke?
They've been so accommodating and friendly and helpful for us that they don't have to do any sweetening for us. Pretty much when we ask for something, if it's at all possible, it happens.
I can think of something like sleeping inside.
Yeah,
I know because of
that's the one
insurance
thing
and
you
safety.
can keep asking. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
I know, but the more times you ask for something, the more times someone will be beaten down and go, "Okay, sleep inside. Just stop asking."
You could just lock yourself away in a closet someplace, I guess. But
now, do you want to reveal?
It's a cupboard under the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. Now, do you want to reveal the big surprise as done by Eliza at the Sunday meet and greet? She's going to reveal the voice of Chopper?
Exactly. Yeah, that's the whole tease. We're going to have Dave Filoni there giving it away.
No, I don't want to hear from Dave Filoni. I want to hear it from Eliza herself. I finally want to crack her.
Good luck. She's a tough nut.
I know, but like I said before, the more you say something, the more maybe it'll happen.
There you go. Exactly. We can keep trying, but I mean, if I can't get it out of her, good luck.
Yeah. We hear you.
All right. Now, if the Skywalkers want to reach out to you once again and ask you any kind of questions, where can they find you?
You can always find us on Twitter at LiningUpNet, and of course myself, Kilted Jedi Rick, no K. Of course, Facebook, we are liningup.net. It's very easy to find us there. We have a closed group and an open group. I would suggest joining the open group. The closed group is really more for us to kind of plan stuff out. So you'll get the official releases at the open group.
Okay.
Now, I'm sure hoping that so many Skywalkers are able to join us, but if they're not, well, then don't worry. We're going to do plenty of podcast roundtables, plenty of periscopes, so it's going to be like you're right there with us in the brutal, freezing Southern California winter.
So, if people cannot join the line but still want to contribute to Starlight Foundation, how can they do that?
When Starlight gets that link up for us, it's going to be a direct link. It will count towards our totals. I know that, for example, Patty, your good Facebook admin, has already said that she wants to donate.
Aww.
And so I know everyone is going to be open to, if they can't make it to the line, they still want to give something. Every little bit helps. We do know that we for sure have people coming in, new members coming in from other podcasts, and even from Jedi News UK coming over from Scotland. So we're really looking forward to having another Kilted member out there with me. It's going to be a lot of fun this year, a lot of new faces.
Oh, that should be fun.
How fun.
Yeah, and once again, Skywalkers, this is a giant Star Wars block party.
Yes, it is.
But you know what? Like I said before, we're not going to leave you out there. You're going to be with us periscoping. You're going to be with us during the round tables, so you won't be left out in the cold, so to speak.
And I would like to add, if you cannot make this year, I totally get it. There are things that happen. It's Christmas time. It's hard to get away sometimes, if you're not local especially. But keep in mind, there's a Star Wars movie every year for the foreseeable future. And we're not going away. We will always be there. We will be doing every line. You will always have your chance to come.
Right.
Awesome.
But this could be your chance to wet your whistle, maybe get a little interest. This little line, this in between, the story film, it's going to give you a chance to just dip your toe in that water. You don't have to spend a lot of time there in line like you do with a saga film, and you could really find out just how exactly fun and crazy and really indescribable it is to be out there in that forecourt.
Just bring your Life Day Snuggie.
Bring out your Tauntaun sleeping bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, Rick. Well, thank you very much for your information and up-to-the-minute details on the line of Rogue One through liningup.net, and we cannot wait for another 51 days. Oh, but just to let everyone know that the Lining Up will start on Tuesday, December the 13th.
So we only have 49 days for the line.
Yeah.
Woohoo!
All right.
And of course, ask me any questions. I'm always happy to help out. But more than anything else, I just want to thank you two for helping get the word out and really make the last line so successful. And I'm really thankful that you're back in for this again with us.
Absolutely.
Well, the Force is with us and our Skywalker family.
Excellent. Thank you very much, guys.
Now, in this week's Journal of the Rich entry, I truly believe this is why I fell in love with haunted houses as a kid. Now, this haunted house, there were Jawas and Tusken Raiders. So I think I always associated haunted houses with Star Wars.
Okay. Oh.
And once again, mad props to Mrs. Patterson, my third grade teacher, for forcing me to sit down and write this in my third grade journal. So this haunted house visit happened on the historic day of
October 28th, 1977. Yesterday, me and Sean and Lisa and my mother went to the haunted house. My best thing was the Jawas. A guy came out of the door and scared us. I saw a mummy with sunglasses. Near the end was all computers. Tusken Raider was near them. Some lady was cooking spiders.
I want to visit that haunted house.
I really wish people had cameras back then like they do today.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I would have loved to have seen pictures of this haunted house because I have it set in my mind, but after 37 years, who knows how accurate that is. But at the very, very end, there was a Tusken Raider that just stood there when you walk by. He'd jump out and scare you.
Oh.
And according to my 37-year-old memory, it looked movie accurate.
You could have been just projecting, but who knows?
Yeah, but I was just so impressed by seeing a Tusken Raider that was actually there. It wasn't in the movies, wasn't an action figure. It was a Tusken Raider in the haunted house. But then a few feet down, they had these two little Jawa mannequins.
That's so
set
cute.
in a little desert scenario.
Right.
They were just little like 1.5 foot tall mannequins, but I still loved them.
I thought that was so cute. You tried to give him cards.
Yeah. So we went again, and I tried to give the Tusken Raider a Topps trading card of himself. He didn't take it. I don't think he knew what I was talking about.
Right.
Here, this is you. And then I put one in the sand right with the Jawas.
Oh, so cute.
But that second time when we went, when I was trying to give the Tusken Raider his Topps trading card, the bandages that wound up the Tusken Raider head were coming undone.
Oh.
And he was trying to put them back before really anyone could really see what was happening. And here's a persistent 8-year-old Rich going, here, this is you, here, Tusken Raider, here, Tusken Raider,
Mom.
Can I hold this? Because he had the gaffy stick right there. Can I hold this? And I remember him getting very aggravated at me. But Tusken Raiders were always aggravated, so I thought he was just in
Nothing
character.
of it. He's in character.
Now thinking back, this guy I'm sure was livid. Kid, go away. I'm having a little situation here. Leave me be.
Oh.
Jam this gaffy stick down your throat.
Oh, well, I'm glad in retrospect he didn't.
Yeah, the Jawas didn't give me any grief.
Well, they're Jawas. Come on. You weren't metal. You weren't a protocol droid.
Trick or treat!
Hey, sweetie, look. It's the Techno Retro Dads.
Oh, my goodness, Shaz!
Hey, Jedi Schwa.
Oh, I'm feeling very pink to you. Yes, Frankenberry here with you.
Chocolate monstrous cereals. Vote Count Chocula in this year's election.
No, both Frankenberry.
Count Chocula!
Oh.
When I opened the door, I could smell a waft of strawberry and chocolate, and now I know why.
All right, Chaz, come on, man. We got a lot of houses to hit. We got going.
Trick or treat.
Hey guys, you know what? If you didn't notice, the porch light was off.
What?
Did you turn the porch light off, Sarah?
No, I forgot. Are we out of treats?
Guys, our bad. I'm so sorry. We ran out of treats with the last couple of visitors, so we're so sorry.
I smell something rotten, Schwa.
Yeah.
I know just the thing for stingy people like you.
Oh, no.
We have something.
Oh, no.
Here it is. Here it is. We're gonna get you.
What is that? What is that?
Eggs.
No.
Yeah.
Again?
Did you sunny side up or scrambled, guys?
Oh.
Oh.
You know what? We like them poached.
Yeah, don't encourage them.
Well, cooked eggs are much better than raw
Yeah.
eggs.
Well, wait a minute. We're doing this wrong. We were out trick-or-treating with our vampire friend Dracula, you know?
Oh.
He left us up the block, though, when he heard we were coming here.
Yeah, so he's a real pain in the neck. Yeah.
Well, we got more tricks, though. We got more tricks for you stingy people.
No. We're not stingy. We just ran out of treats.
Sure you did. We're the Techno Retro Dads. We decided to do the most retro Halloween prank ever. Look out in your yard.
I've got a very bad feeling about this.
Wait, are those tents?
Why are there tents out in our front yard?
Yeah, we thought it'd be funny to TP your house.
Oh!
That's it, right?
You like your tricks?
As for the toilet paper, you're going to leave that here, right? Because, honestly, we could still use that.
All right, well, we're not going to wait. What's the best thing you got in your house to throw in our candy bags there?
You know what? We do have this Techno Retro Dad's pin that's been sitting on our desk right here. You guys are more than welcome to have this.
And then a 2-gigabyte flash drive that says California Science Center on it.
I have some white model paint.
Well, maybe we could trade for some of this stuff. I have a bit of honey and some Necco wafers. Will that work?
I got 2 Jolly Ranchers. Let's trade up. How about a steak? I bet you got some steak in the fridge.
We do have some Blueberry cereal.
Blueberry? A third-party candidate. No!
Third-party candidates are out this year.
Anyway, we still had fun. It's Halloween. You got to have fun.
That's true.
I guess hanging out with our buds.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming by and dropping off some toilet paper. So, you know what? I guess the trick is on you guys.
And you're welcome back next year.
Next year we're coming earlier, Schwa.
Yeah, we got to get different costumes to disguise ourselves next time.
All right. Happy Halloween, guys.
Happy Halloween.
All right, bye-bye. No, leave it here. Leave the toilet paper. They're taking the toilet paper.
But they're leaving the tent, so I'm kind of excited.
But I needed that. All right, never mind. All right, clean that up. Get it off of Sarah's car, would you? And our 9-foot inflatable Darth Vader lawn ornament. Do not TP Darth Vader. I can't believe they TP Darth Vader.
That wraps up episode 142 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
We want to thank our trick-or-treaters who dropped by today.
We want to thank Dave Parfit of AdventuresByDaddy.com, for whom we got the invite for this Doctor Strange press junket, and look for some companion pieces on his blog, AdventuresByDaddy.com.
We also want to thank Ric Peralta of LininguP.net.
Simon Wilkie for getting 3PO to help us with Halloween safety tips.
And our Skywalker family for listening.
Perhaps you have a Skywalker in your life who really loves listening to this show and hasn't gotten a soundtrack yet. Well, it's time to start thinking of Christmas gifts.
It's a great stocking stuffer and a great pumpkin stuffer.
Yes, it is. We have a podcast soundtrack. So just as a reminder that the Skywalking Through Neverland Awesome Jingle Mix Volume 1 is available for you to download on any digital platform.
And once again, it does make a great Halloween gift because he does include the spooky Skywalking Through Neverland jingle, which I had forgotten that he had done.
It's true.
Luckily, when we bought the album, it's like, oh, let's use this on some of the Halloween shows.
Awesome.
So support Rob, support the show. Now, support our family by showing up at the Rancho Obi-Wan event in Petaluma, California this November the 5th.
That's coming up really quick.
And even if you don't show up, we know you still support us. But that's just my way of saying we really want to see you Skywalkers up close and personal. And we hope we do get to see you at the Rancho Obi-Wan Gala event on November the 5th. And then the next day...
And we will have buttons.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Always have buttons. And the next day at the Disney Family Museum.
Yeah.
On November the 6th. And we're so happy to see Donald and Roxanne Wicks there. And we hope to see you there as well.
And now, as a reminder, Skywalkers, September 2017, September 17th to be exact, is the beginning of our 5-night Skywalking Disney cruise to Baja, Mexico on the newly refurbished Disney Wonder. It just got out of dry dock this week, and on the Disney Parks blog, there's like all this new stuff of what they did to it. It's like a new boat, you guys. It's a new boat. So to get more info, go to storiesofthemagic.com/cruise quote and click on the orange Get a Quote button in the upper left, and you can submit your information there and request to join the Skywalkers.
We hope to see you there, and just to forewarn you, the Oneater jokes will not stop the whole time we're on the boat. Just saying. Now, we are part of the Retro Zap family, where you can also find great shows like Brews and Blasters,
the Deuce Cast Movie Show,
Techno Retro Dads, who we want to thank for being our trick-or-treaters, and with an emphasis on the tricks
And there's also the Sandcrawler podcast is new, and that's all about Star Wars collecting. So I know several of you who listen really like collecting, and you can hit up the Sandcrawler podcast.
And finally, the new episode of Talking Apes TV, which will be out in another day or so.
Okay.
I know I keep saying that, but,
yeah.
Schedules come up, but this is a very exciting Halloween episode, so it's got to be out before Monday.
That's true. All right, Skywalkers, if you want to continue the conversation and be a part of our social media mornings every week, you can hit us up at SkywalkingPod for Twitter, Instagram, Periscope, and Snapchat. We also have our Facebook group, which there have been several new member requests lately, so we want to thank you for joining us. Now, as a reminder, if you want to join that group, that is a closed Facebook group, which means you have to request to join, and then one of the admins will have to vet you and let you in. So just to help us out, it's great if you send a message to our Skywalking Through Neverland Facebook page and say, hey, I requested to join. Please let me in. I'm not a spammer. And several of you have said exactly that in your request, which I love. So we thank you for that. And in that way, you can be part of our 300 plus and growing Facebook group.
Always great conversations happening on the Facebook group page.
Yes.
And now I want to remind everyone to please, if you can, write us an iTunes review. Always fun to see what everyone thinks, and we're not going to tell you to write a 5-star review. We want you to be completely honest.
That's right. And bonus points if you can get someone new to click that subscribe button to Skywalking Through Neverland.
Now, did we tell everyone how they can win the Funko Pops?
Yes, we did. We, as a reminder for people, we have that contest to win the Funko Pops. So everyone, share away the Facebook post of this show, this episode 142. And as many shares as you do on Facebook, that's how many times you will be entered to win the Funko Pops.
All right, with that, we want to remind everyone to have a very happy and safe Halloween. And also,
always remember,
Neverland on Alderaan.
Some imagination, huh?
now enjoy all the times that we messed up with our bloopers and outtakes.
Right? And come join us on Periscope next time so you can get those bloopers and outtakes
As they happen.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Bye, everyone. Happy Halloween.
And especially when your recorder stops recording. To our Skywalkers and Tweetwalkers, thanks for listening. Skywalking Through Neverland is created and produced by Richard and Sarah Woloski. Original music by Rob Dellinger. Creative consultant Mark Augushowitz. Technical advisor Peter Heitman. Facebook administrators Donald Wicks, Joey Pittman, and Norma Heitman.
Skywalking Through Neverland is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds, music, and clips played during this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. All original content is property of Skywalking Through Neverland, all rights reserved. Sorry, had to be said.
So we decided to.
This is one of the highlights of our anniversary day, to have the Skywalker family join us.
Oh, look, it's 11:38.
Oh.
Yay!
That's customary.
On our 7-year anniversary. Aww.
That's pretty much our ritual every day.
Yes.
Give kisses at 11:38.
If we happen to catch it. This is what you can look forward to on episode... Oops. This is what you can look... Let me try that again.
All right. Take 14.
Wait, we're going to have to cut because Minnie is not prepared right now. Hold on. And then wait.
You should just get used to this every week.
Wait, hold on.
Because I'll be asking you this.
Wait, no, I need this. Oh.
So you Scope Walkers, had you ever heard of Doctor Strange before the film was announced? Let's read the comments as they come.
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
So we're kind of split. We're split there.
Well, most people said yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
But how much did you actually know about him?
Not terribly familiar.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we had heard the name, but
didn't know.
That was it.
Yeah.
That was it.
Now, is Wong in the comics the librarian?
I don't know.
Okay, you can cut that question out.
His last name is Hammond.
Okay. I don't actually know their names. I know that there's Kurt and I know that there's Friedrich.
That's it. Was it Peter Hammond?
Okay. That sounds right.
That name stuck in my head.
So he plays Kurt in The Sound of Music. I believe it was Kurt, not Friedrich.
But no, it wasn't Friedrich. It was one of the kids.
That's what I'm saying. Friedrich and Kurt were the kids, the two boys, and the rest were all girls.
Who was the kid that turned Nazi?
Oh, no. Oh, it was him?
No, it wasn't him.
Okay. Yeah, no. The one who turned Nazi was